Šiandien turėsite galimybę išgirsti keletą pranešimų anglų ir lietuvių kalbomis skirtingomis temomis. Tačiau visos temos be abejo susijusios su spaudos gamybos rinkos naujovėmis. Pradžioje aptarkime, su kokiais iššūkiais susiduria spaudos gamybos rinkoje dirbantis verslas. Pastaruoju metu spaudos gamybos pramonėje pastebimas skaitmeninės spaudos technologijų populiarumo augimas. Tai įtakoja mažėjantis užsakymų tiražai, didelė poreikių kaita ir vis trumpėjantis atlikimo terminai. Taip pat itin aktualia tema tampa išskirtinių pakuočių gamyba. Verslas ieško savo išskirtinumo. Todėl patrauklus, unikalus pakuotės dizainas be abejonės padeda prikaustyti vartotojų dėmesį ir, žinoma, pritraukti pardavimus. Verslas ieškodamas išskirtinumo domisi technologijomis susijusiomis su pakuotės puošyba, personalizacija ir siekia automatizuoti procesus nuo užsakymų pateikimo, valdymo iki gamybos automatizavimo. Todėl šios dienos temos bus daugiau ar mažiau susijusios su pakuočių gamyba, spaudos technologijų automatizacija, efektyvesnių gamybos valdymo, patogesnių grafinių failų redagavimo bei būdais, kaip patogiau valdyti spaudos įmonės. Todėl nieko nelaukdami pradėkime nuo pirmojo šios dienos pristatymo. Pirmojo pristatymo metu kalbės biznių mašinų kompanijos atstovas Mindaugas Bačiulis, kurio pranešimas apims 3 temas. Pirmoji – pakuotės gamyba pritaikyta skaitmeniniai spaudai. Antroji – naujojo formatų brošiūrų gamyba. Ir taip pat Mindaugas apžvelgs skaitmeninės spaudos privalumus, panaudojant papildomas spalvas. Taip pat norėčiau paminėti, kad visi pranešimai yra įrašomi. Po renginio visiems užsiregistravusiems atsiųsime nuorodą peržiūrai. Linkiu smagios ir turiningos popietės ir kviečiu išklausyti pirmojo pranešimo.
Sveiki, labai malonu matyti visus susirinkusius, besidominčius skaitmeninės spaudos technologijomis, o besikeičiantis spaudos pasaulis suteikia mums galimybę. Jeigu tik aišku esame pasiruošę su atitinkamomis technologijomis ją išnaudoti. O ką sako jūsų klientai? Jūsų klientai jau pasiruošę mokėti kiek daugiau už išskirtinę spaudą arba atmyk spaudą su papildomais efektais – laku, metalizuotom, aukso ir kitom spalvom. Bendrai skaitmeninė spauda išplečia jūsų darbų spektrą. Trumpėjant terminam, pasauliui didinant apsisukimus, tai tampa labai svarbių kriterijų. Tačiau šiandien perkama spaudos mašina gali būti ne ta, kurios jums reikės rytoj. Todėl štai kodėl Xeroxas sukūrė šią technologiją, turėdamas omeny platformos strategiją. Leisdamas jums pasirinkti funkcijas ir galimybės, kurių jums reikia, kad patenkintumėte šiuo metu jūsų poreikius ir tuo pačiu būsite lankstus, kad galėtumėte padidinti savo investicijas ateityje ir prisitaikyti prie ateities poreikių. Vienas iš skirtiniausių dalykų, ką turi ši mašina, tai yra Ultra HD kokybė. Tai ypatinga raiška, kurią galima pasiekti naudojant unikalų EFI rastravimo kontrolerį. Tai yra, mes galime turėti failų suspaudimą 1200 dpi ant 10 bitų ir paleisti spaudos failą į mašiną tokios rezoliucijos, kur mašinos variklis gali apdoroti failą 2400 ant 2400 dpi. Vieno bito technologija, kas irgi yra unikali Xeroxo technologija ir tai yra didelis pliusas, nes tai yra ypač mažas taško dydis, tačiau jis yra arba jo nėra. Reiškia, nėra klaidos tikimybės. Šios unikalios technologijos dėka galime pasiekti taip, kad spaudoje bus visi perėjimai tolygus ir gražus, ryškios linijos ir išsamūs šriftai. O unikalus HD toneris, kurio dalelės dydis yra 4,7 mikrono, yra ypatingai mažas. Tas suteikia ypatingos kokybės spaudui ir tai yra gerokai aukštesnis parametras lyginant su prieš tai buvusiom technologijom arba kitų gamintojų esančių rinkoje. Tačiau pagrindinis išskirtinumas šios mašinos yra, kadangi jinai yra nestandartinė atsmykinė 4-spalvė mašina, o 6 sekcijų mašina. Tai reiškia, kad yra viena papildoma spalva, kuri gali būti priešsluoksnyje ir viena papildoma 6 spalva, kuri gali būti antsluoksnyje. Taigi, į šias vietas mes galime įdėti papildomas spalvas, tai yra auksą, sidabrą, baltą arba skaidrę spalvą, visiškai naujai pasirodžiusią rausvą fluorescencinę spalvą, kurių pagalba galima išgauti ypatingus efektus spaudoje arba papuošti tradicinius TMIC maketus. Šiai dienai tai yra dar tikras išskirtinumas spaudos rinkoje, kadangi nedaugelis gamintojų gali pasigirti naudojantis papildomas spalvas ir nei vienas gamintojas neturi 2 papildomų spalvų smykiniai mašinai. Yra gamintojų, kurie turi vieną papildomą spalvą arba į tą vieną papildomą sekciją gali keisdami įdėti keletą skirtingų spalvų, tačiau spausdinti dviem papildomam spalvom tokių variantų nėra. Pabandysiu jums šiek tiek plačiau parodyti, kaip atrodo papildomos spalvos mašinoje ir ką su jom galima nuveikti. Tai čia matome standartinės XMPie 4 spalvas, o šičia yra priešsluoksnio ir antsluoksnio spalva. Į šias vietas mes galime, kaip minėjau, įdėti papildomas spalvas. Spalvos yra pakankamai lengvai keičiamos, pakeitimui užtruksite net plius minus gal 15-20 minučių, reikalingas tik tai kryžminis atsuktuvas, ir pilnai yra operatoriaus funkcija tai pasidaryti, pakeisti spalvą. Taigi, kaip minėjau, per 15-20 minučių pilnumoje mašina nuo sustojimo iki naujo paleidimo užtrunka neilgesnį laiko tarpą, keičiant spalvą. Taipogi nėra prikuriama kažkokio tai papildomo broko, kadangi mašina automatiškai susikalibruoja pagal naujai pakeistą spalvą ir visas tas nutinka automatiškai be jokio operatoriaus įsikišimo, papildomų matavimų, nustatymų, proofingų ir taip toliau. Papildomas spalvos. Tai svarbiausia šio įrenginio išskirtinumas. Taigi pradėkime nuo sidabro ir aukso, kuris dažniausiai naudojamas puošti spaudos produktam. Iki šiol mes naudodavom folijavimo technologijas arba auksavimo metodus. Šiai dienai mes galime turėti skaitmenoje vienu lapo praleidimu auksą ir sidabrą šalia tradicinės XMPie spaudos. Dar viena ir unikali ilgai laukta spalva yra balta. Baltą atspausdinti tikrai yra komplikuota ir nedaug įrenginių, netgi tų, kurie savyje turi integruotą baltą spalvą, galime pavadinti, kad jinai išties yra balta. Šis įrenginys iš tiesų išskirtinis, nes balta spalva yra sniego spalvos, jinai ryški. Antras dalykas, kad ją galima dar ypatingų būdų paryškinti. Tai reiškia, mes galime naudoti baltą spalvą tiek pirmoje sekcijoje, tiek šeštoje sekcijoje, dedant vienu ciklu ją dviem kartais. Tai reiškia, sodrinant šitą spalvą, mes galime išgauti tikrą sniego baltumo baltą. Taipogi visai neseniai pasirodė fluorescencinė papildoma spalva rausva. Jos pagalba galime sukurti išskirtinius dizainus arba kažkokius tai elementus, kuriuos galime panaudoti, kad ir pavyzdžiui spaudos saugumui. Pavyzdžiui, kuriant pakuotę arba kažkokius išskirtinius dirbinius, kur galima įdėti nedidelį šios spaudos intarpą, kurį būtų labai sudėtinga nukopijuoti arba padaryti atitikmenį kitom technologijom. Nes šita spalva, jinai ne tik rausva, bet ir kartu apšviesta neono šviesos, jinai spindi tamsoje. Vienas populiariausių spaudos puošybos elementų be abejo yra lakas. Jis naudojamas jau pakankamai seniai, plačiai spaudoj, tik tai yra papildoma funkcija skaitmeniniai spaudai arba netgi ir kitom spaudom. Arba reikalinga labai brangi įranga siekiant tokiu būdu papuošti spaudą. Čia mes turime integruotą skaidrę spalvą, kuri gali būti vėl vieno ciklo metu užnešama iškart ant smikinės spaudos ir tam nereikalingos jokios papildomos operacijos, o spauda tampa gerokai išvaizdesnė. Dar viena papildoma spalva, kuri naudojama ne puošybai, tai yra Low Gloss Clear toneris. Jo pagrindinė paskirtis dekoratyvinių popierių spaudai. Šitas toneris yra maišomas su kitomis spalvomis tam, kad išgauti gražesnį spalvos padengimo tolygumą. Jis užpildo dekoratyvinio popieriaus griovelius, tokiu būdu spauda tampa graži ir tolygi. Visom šiom minėtoms spalvomis galima spausdinti keletą kartų. Tai yra lapą praleisti per įrangą, kad keliaudamas lapas kelis ciklus galėtų padengti keletą sluoksnių tos pačios spalvos, o tekstūra užaugtų, sukurdama juntamą reljefą. Visomis šiomis papildomomis spalvomis galima spausdinti atskirai, arba jas maišyti su smikinėmis spalvom, arba metalizuotoms spalvomis. Siekiant išgauti papildomus atspalvius, kurių kitom technologijom išgauti neįmanoma arba labai sudėtinga. Pavyzdžiui, maišant auksą sidabrą su fluorescenciniu pinku, galima išgauti rožinius metalizuotus atspalvius, kurie atrodo tikrai išskirtinai. Taip pat galima išplėsti ir standartinę XMPie gamutą, naudojant, pavyzdžiui, tą patį pink tonerį. Šitas įrenginys gali nuspausdinti ne tik ant tradicinio baltos spalvos popieriaus, bet ir išnaudoti įvairias medijas, kurios yra įvairių spalvų, juodos spalvos. taip pat dekoratyvinius popierius. Kadangi papildomos spalvos gali dengti, tokios kaip balta arba sidabras arba auksas, ir puikiai atrodyti ant juodos spalvos, mėlynos, rausvos, bet kokios spalvos dekoratyvinio popieriaus, su šiuo spaudos mašina jūs galite tai padaryti, ko negalite galbūt atlikti su kitais įrenginiais. Dar viena unikali šio įrenginio savybė, kad galima spausdinti pakankamai ilgą lapą, tai yra iki 1,20 m ilgio. Tam yra sukurtas specialus padavimo įrenginys, kuris gali paimti tokio ilgio lapą korektiškai. Automatiškai, jeigu mes juos sudedame į krūvelę, turim atitinkamą sistemą, kur detektoriaus pagalba įsijungia specialūs prapūtimo mechanizmai, kurie neleidžia popieriui sulipti ir įrenginiui užstrigti. Pažvelkime šiek tiek į įrenginio vidų. Čia mes matome įmontuotą spektrofotometrą, kuris yra integruotas ir jo plotis yra per visą lapą. Tai reiškia, spaudos metu jisai nuskaito kiekvieną spaudą, kuris praeina pro mašiną ir registruodamas mažiausius nukrypimus siunčia visą informaciją į spaudos kontrolerį, tuo būdu koreguodamas visą spaudos srautą. Štai čia yra kaitimo elementas, tikrai labai rimtas useris, kuris be problemų gali prikaitinti tonerį praktiškai prie bet kokios medžiagos. Kai lankiausi Suomijoje, vienas spaudėjas sakė, kad jie spausdina ne tik ant popieriaus, o netgi ant medžio plaušo, kuris naudojamas baldiniai rinkoje. Štai čia matom būtent pernešimo juostą ir tuo pačiu šitoje vietoje turėtų spektrofotometras būti. Integruotą spektrofotometrą taipogi galime panaudoti profilių kūrimui. Tam, kad spalvos išliktų tikslios, būtina atlikti kalibravimą arba įrenginio suvedimą kiekvienai medijai arba atliekant tai kasdieninės rutinos procesuose. Tačiau tai yra ypatingai paprasta funkcija, kadangi jinai yra pilnumoje automatizuota. Tai gerokai sutrumpina laiką ir pašalina sudėtingas bei kvalifikuotos spalvų valdymo reikalaujančias užduotis. O tai reiškia, daugiau laiko galite skirti gamybai ir mažiau laiko siekiant išgauti aukštą spaudos kokybę. Dar šiek tiek techninių detalių apie įrenginį. Įrenginys sukurtas spausdinti maždaug nuo 50 iki 300 tūkstančių trečiukų per mėnesį, bet pikiniais apkrovimais gali atspausdinti ir milijoną. Spausdinimo greitis yra 120 lapų per minutę, skaičiuojant ketvirtukais. Įrenginio rezoliucija, kaip minėjau, 1200 ant 1210 bitų rastravimas ir 2400 ant 2400 dpi vieno bito, tai yra jokios klaidos tikimybės, yra spalva arba nėra spalva, spausdinimo variklis. Popieriaus gramatūra yra nuo 52 gramų iki 300 gramų, tačiau fiziškai pačiam teko testuoti, būnant Suomijoje, Lietuvoje, klientai spausdina ir ant 440 ir ant 450 skandiją popieriaus. Taigi tikrai galima drąsiai naudoti pakuotės gamyboje arba spausdinant ant puskartonių. Maksimalus popieriaus dydis yra 320 mm plotis ir 1,2 m ilgis. Kaip jau kalbėjome, įrenginys turi specialų prietaisą skirtą ilgo lapo padavimui, kas sumažina gerokai popieriaus strigimo tikimybės. Registracijos nuokrypis yra tik tai 0,5 mm. Tai unikalus dalykas ir tik turbūt vienintelis gamintojas Xerox gali pasiūlyti tokį spaudos tikslumą. Įrenginyje yra integruotas spektrofotometras, kuris nuolat tikrina spausdinant spaudos kokybę ir automatiškai informuoja spaudos kontrolerį apie visus įmanomus nuokrypius, tuo pačiu koreguojant spaudos kokybę tam, kad jų nebūtų. Taipogi spektrofotometrą galima naudoti ir rutininiam funkcijom, tai įrenginio kalibravimui kasdieniam arba spaudos profilių paruošimui. Taigi, kaip matote, Xerox Iridesse sprendimas yra turbūt vienintelis toks sprendimas, kuris atveria tiek daug galimybių, kurių rinkoje negali pasiūlyti joks kitas gamintojas. O šiandien tada su Xerox Iridesse spaudos mašina mes spausdinsime 2 darbus. Tai yra, kaip ir kalbėjom, iš augančio segmento, tai yra pakuotė, tam, kad galėtume visiems jums teikti dovanų. Ir antras darbas bus landscapinė knygutė, kurią vėliau su Morgana Booklet Maker įrenginiu mes suseksime ir būtent parodysim, kaip ta funkcija yra atliekama. Mums puikiai pavyko įsipjauti, susilankstėm dovanėlę. O plačiau tada apie šį įrenginį pasišnekėsime su kompanijos Glorian atstovu Michaelu.
Hello, Michael.
Hello. Good morning or good day.
Good day. So let's talk about the Glorian Omnia, cutter with automatic feeder.
Yes, please.
We just printed on Iridesse visitor welcome packaging boxes, and then I cut them on Omnia, and it was a perfect cut.
Yes.
So my question is, why is the market is choosing Omnia, especially next to the digital printing presses?
The Omnia is designed for the digital pressing and the next generation of media that we can handle in all these digital presses. The format and the speed follows the quality and actually the capacity of the printer. Omnia is designed to work 24/7, so it's a non-stop machine, but you need to refill it with the feeder. The same operator can run the printer and the Omnia at the same time, because you don't need to change the media when it's running, so you can have it running for a couple of hours without interference.
Yeah, it's very important, I think, because everybody want to have a multitasking people.
Yes, and it's about the workflow in your production, how it looks like. So that was the main reason why we designed the Omnia for this kind of size and the digital market for packaging.
Okay. So what we can cut on Omnia?
A very simple way to say, if you can bend the material somehow, you can cut it. So in the Omnia we can process media up to 12.7 millimeters. So 12.7.
Yeah.
And we can also feed up to that in some media. So normal paper stock, you can do some forex if you want, and other soft material that is a little bit thicker if you want to do. The size could be a limit there with 60x80 if you want to do bigger mock-ups or something. But to normal production where we see the digital printer can go into is to do short runs of boxes. This when you do proposal to customer, you have this file where you put all the paper. It's a normal runs where people use the Omnia for. Then of course there are a few questions you need to ask yourself before you go ahead with the digital cutter overall. Is what is your priority market? What do you want to do, and what do you want to offer the end user, your customer? And that's two main questions you need to handle before you go to the next step. Because once you have opened the door to the Omnia, you will discover you can do a lot more. So you need to find the base of production where you can start, and then you get the machine in and start to run. You will explore what else you can do, and also expand your offer to the customer. For example, a few customers who have installed the Omnia, they tell me the story about when the customer comes in. Let's say, for example, Monday, and they want to have maybe 1,000 boxes, and they want to have it tomorrow. And that is the reality we live in today, everybody. And to do 1,000 boxes on the traditional way, it will take a couple of days, because you need to order the die, you need to do that, and then maybe you can have it in the end of the week. What a few of them told me that, okay, you need it 1,000 boxes. Okay, if you come back this afternoon, you can get 100 of me, and then you will get 100 and 100 and 100 the rest of the week. So you can deliver it immediately if you have the time to do it. And in that way you can get the order. You can get also quite good margin on the product, because you can deliver very quick.
Okay, and the machine is working unstoppable. 24/7 can work, yeah?
Yeah. Of course, you need to change. You need to reload sometimes, and maybe change the cutting file.
So the feeder can stack up to 500 sheets. So approximately how much time it would take before the next feeding?
Oh, it's depending how complicated the cut file is. So there is no straight answer to that. But it's not like you need to wash the machine. You press play and then it goes off. We have a few installations where they use, because Omnia is equipped with the camera to read the crop marks, so we align the print with the cut, and that system also read the QR code. So you can place the QR code on the sheet that you want to cut, and then they collect the cut file for exactly that sheet to cut it, personalize it, and then they read the next crop mark and the QR code, and it could be a different box or different thing that they want to cut. So you can do it extremely personalized if you want.
Yeah, it's very important. We're also done with this time.
Yes.
Our welcome packaging box. You see that? Yeah. So it was perfect, easy, quick, and then if we are working in small quantities, so it's very important to have such a system.
Yes, so a few installation they only run the personalized boxes for private industry. So the customer order on internet, they place their photograph on the box, and then they send the file to the printer, and they cut and they print with the QR code and then place in the Omnia, and then a few hours later it's on the mail to be sent to the customer.
Yeah. It's the future business, I think.
Yes.
Especially for digital printers.
Yeah.
Okay, and what is the size of materials?
60 by 80.
60 by 80. Okay, so it's like B2 or something like
B2,
that.
B2.
Yeah. Okay.
So then inside that you have space for a lot of things. So you if you want to do, but you can do multiple up also if you want to on the sheet for sure. But we saw that the B2 size is a good size, also for the next generation of inkjet printers coming here.
Yeah, and also what about the materials? What you can cut exactly? So we already talked about the paper.
Yeah.
What about corrugated carbon?
Yes.
Okay, magnet coat.
Magnet you can do. Some magnets, it should not be too heavy, but you can cut magnetic, no problem. And in the system we have, so you have the magnetic, then you have a clean sheet just to separate it easier. So it's a function in the system where you can have every second sheet is no cut sheet, so it just processes through the conveyor, so you can separate it.
Okay, even thin plastic, I saw it on the brochure.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
So here you need to test so we can hold the material with a vacuum table, because sometimes the metal could be quite porous, and then it could be a problem to have it to stick. But normally plastic is not a problem.
Okay, our engineers already have some tests about the vacuum system, and it was very nice. It's different from other products, I could say, because we also tested other products from the competition, so there is no such results regarding the vacuum system.
No, it's quite clever how it works with the table and all these pumps underneath how to collect it. So based on from mechanical side of the Omnia, it's a working horse, we call it, and designed for 24/7. With the Omnia, you have different options with tools. So normal tangential head is normal cut. You have a creasing tool, as we call it, where you have 5 different sizes of the creasing, depending on what size you want on the creasing, or what media you want to have. The pressure in the head is unstoppable, so you can almost break the table if you want to. But so you can adjust the pressure on the crease how you want, because that is normally is personalized how you want how deep and how thick you want the crease. Then we can add an oscillating knife to do the 12.7 millimeter with a little bit thicker material. There is option also to do 45 degrees bevel cut, face down, face up for grade, which is also a niche market for doing luxury boxes, where we have lots of installation for this. And also the option for kiss cut, so you can do labels and stickers and
Okay, so it's very robust system.
It's a very robust and versatile. So coming back to the point, if you know what you want to do and you start with that, you will you will see much more you can do with the Omnia. So it helps you to grow the business once you have started to operate with the machine.
Okay. Who else could be might be interested for the Omnia instead of digital printers?
Yeah, I mean, Omnia is, first of all, it's designed for digital printer because we have this system with the QR code and everything. So that was the idea in the beginning. Of course, you can cut or process other media if you want to do the luxury boxes with the gray board. You can process that without printing. You can also do small quantities of varnish plate. It could work depending on the size if you want that. And also I see some is doing the cutout for die making to do the plate for the injection foam. But Omnia is working together with a printer. It's mostly designed for that. But of course you can process other things. It's like a cutting table overall. If you turn off the conveyor, you can use it as a normal cutting table.
You are right, because the market, all the lengths are shortening, but anyway, all our customers come from the past, so they like to have a bigger amount of the same job, and for them much easier to take such a job. So they are looking for such a jobs, because it's much easier to have one job and to make it 1,000 or 10,000 copies than to have 10 jobs per 100 sheets.
I mean, if you have construction, your workflow for big volumes, you need volumes to swallow the capacity. But the run length is shrinking, not the print volume as much. But the customer has a tendency to order less, but often, because there is lots of changing going on. So if you order a box today, maybe you need to redesign it because there is something else in another box. And this comes to everything now. I think it is more or less moving to that direction, and many installation we do, I get the response from the customer is, why didn't I do this 10 years ago? Why didn't I invest in a digital cutter table in 10 years ago? Because it's open up the eyes, open up the what you can offer to your customer. It's what do you want to do? And with the software, you can resize the boxes, you can resize the mock-ups, you can ask the customer, is this good? No, they say, okay, then 5 minutes later, you can do another shape. And they say, oh, this is good, I'll take it. So it's much easier to come closer to the order when the customer can decide. Otherwise, it's quite static what you have.
I totally agree, but I think we have also another issue. When we have more orders, we need to manage them, and for them it's also a problem if we don't have a system. So we're coming to the next problem. If we already upgraded their capacity in production, so we need to also upgrade the capacity and also in the software level in case to manage these orders.
Yes. So with the Omnia who can read the crop marks, you don't need to get the important, because the Omnia reads where to collect the cut file. So it collects only for that piece of job. So you can do one. It's not a problem. Then you do one. Okay. Then you do one. Then you can do 500 if you want.
Okay. everybody's looking for 500, but there is a lack in the market for 500.
Yes, and then, it's all depending what you're looking for and what you want to offer the customer. It's the beauty of digital printing. You can do one piece. It's okay. You can do 500. It's not a problem. You can do 1,000. So.
And it depends on the margin. So you can earn from 50 sheets the same like 500.
Yes. And you can do more orders.
Yeah.
One installation in UK that went very well now. So they will order 2 Omnia because they have 2 production sites. They only do chocolate boxes only.
Okay.
So they have
we used to have the idea to make the chocolate boxes for our welcome gift packs, but we decided to have this traditional, maybe a bit bigger boxes. So everybody, the boxes everywhere, the packaging, the boxes, the packaging, and it's the fastest growing market, I think.
Packaging is the only thing you can't go digital with.
Okay. Good appointment. Why do you think so?
A manual you can read on the computer. Okay. The menu you can read in the phone, but a box you can't get it in the computer. The packaging, and depending on the value inside the box can also determine also the value of the print and the shape of the box and how much you can charge. So if the luxury things inside, you can charge more for actually producing the box. So depending what is the content in the box, it can also dictate what kind of margin you can have.
Okay, so it's a part of creativity. So it depends how much value you can create in your packaging where you are putting your products. So of course everybody has a margin on it. The product owner, the product printer, the packaging printer.
Same idea like you have there. If you want to use it, you can use it. But this little box came in my
put it a bit.
It's my name.
Okay, I don't say no. Oh yeah, now it's a Michael Breeze. Yeah. It's blurring. When you're blurring, so it's raising the corners and then now it will be much better. Yeah.
It's my name.
Yeah, but it's a label. Yeah, it's a label.
Yes.
Okay.
And inside, let's see if I can bring it out. It's an invitation, my name, where I should go and why, and inside there is a space for putting a Prosecco bottle. So this is digital printing with varnish, laminated, and cut in the Vagliani.
Okay, nice one. So it's also a welcome package for your event. Oh, it's a Christmas gift.
Oh no, it's event. You should see the eyes from the customer who get the invitation for this.
Okay.
So this is cutted. Inside there is the program.
Yeah.
They did.
Definitely, I will come if I get such an invitation.
Anyway, okay.
Yeah, nice one. Maybe the next year we can teach you, take some experience from you, inviting people to events.
It's a nice one, but there's lots of work. But you can't do it if you don't have the machine to do it.
Yeah. In another way, it will be a lot of.
Yeah. So now you actually can do something with your ideas from the computer to do something with it, actually. Yeah.
Okay.
Very good.
Good. Okay. So as far as I already understood, you are going to FESPA and you will have your booth. Yeah.
Yes.
for the customers who will come to Vespa, they can also to see also other products. What will be close to Omnia?
Yes.
Have another one?
Yeah, we will launch a new machine or new table at Vespa, or actually next week in Viscom in Italy.
Okay.
Yeah, it will be a new launch. So let us see when it comes out. But it
okay.
Will...
Okay, so Michael, meet you there. So thank you for this valuable discussion, and see you next time.
Yes. Good luck. Thank you very much for your time.
Yeah, bye.
Bye-bye.
Turime susiektą brošiūrą, o tada plačiau apie Morganos įsigijimo įrenginį pasikalbėsime su kompanijos atstovu Tomsu.
Hi, Toms.
Hello, Mindaugas.
How are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
Your colleagues come.
Yes, we are very busy in the showroom also.
Okay. So Thomas, the owner of VP2print company, is very proud to have such a system like yours, Morgana C5035. And I would like to talk more about this functionality and advantages. So, what we made? Today we made the standard brochure of 5 pages, and it was made in landscape, A4 landscape format. So what you could tell us, what is it?
Yes, it's today's tendency when the printers can print longer and longer sheets. The finishing need to follow and catch the job and finish the job. Yes, to add the value to the sheet and make it into some product that you can hold in your hands or sell. So today's printers, it's almost standard, can print above 600. Yes, that is a normal printer for today. So we have also made a booklet maker which can accept 620 millimeter long sheet.
Okay, and for now it seems it's like unique technology, yes?
Yes, it's quite interesting because we tried to make a machine which is better than the competition, and it's not very common that you can work with such a long size and also in such compact footprint of the machine. Yes, and at the same time you can do also very small size like 120 millimeter wide. Yes, for example, A6 book we can do with the same machine. So it's very flexible also.
Okay, what else does this machine do? Because what we do, we stepped, we face trimmed, and then after we finished the square folded edge here, and we got this nice looking professional bounded book, we can call, yeah? Yes,
today we think that this system is standing out from the competition, and the reasons are many. One of these reasons is the big size, okay, small size, but also the total length and how the system is, how big it is. Yes. Then the next thing is we can work with different paper types. We can work with the thin paper, with the thick paper. It's all accepted by the booklet maker, and the feeder can process. What is important? Important is that you get you get a number of benefits. Yes, and this machine can make you stand out from competition. Yes, you can be different, offer something what others don't do. And one of the main points is that is the total thickness of the book. We can feed into the booklet maker 50 sheets of 80 gram, and the end result we get 10 millimeters thick book, for example. Yes, and you can do this in a A4 landscape format or smaller book. Yes, but the thickness remain the same. Then the next thing we offer different is the square spine. Yes.
Okay.
The book, when it leaves our system, looks very similar to the magazine or to perfect bound book with the square spine. Yes, perfectly aligned, and the front cut. So it's a professional system.
Yeah, it's fully automated. So we put the sheets into a feeder and we get the booklet already stitched, perfect binded, cutted, bleed cutted. It could be also the two blade side cutting, yeah? Also one of the options of this machine.
Yes, if you mention automation, I need to add a few points. What it means technically inside the machine, what it means automation. First, what is important is in the feeder, in a feeder module. It is a vacuum feeder, but what is new? It is integrated process control, which means that we are adjusting dynamically the settings of the machine depending on how the paper is behaving inside. So we are measuring the separation, and if the separation is not good, we add more air. Yes, and that is happening automatically inside. So the operator don't have misfeeds or double feed, and the machine work without stopping. It's more reliable feeding. Yes, and another automation is the automation. How to say? Another page in automation is the automatic change of settings in the machine depending on what book is coming. So we can leave the machine in automatic settings, and the book will always be with the square spine and with the good trim.
Okay.
And folding is also very nice. If we prefer to run each book different size, yes, like a print on demand is every book is coming different paper, maybe different page count. So that also can happen. We don't have to change the settings. What we need to change is the paper size, yes, but no settings for thickness of the book or this. And yes, and the last step of automation, which you mentioned, is the two-side trimmer at the end. So we can have front cut and also cut the sides if we choose to have a such setup. Yeah.
Okay, so it will be the full already. But it's this two-blade cutter is an option for this machine, yeah?
Yes, that is option. Basic configuration is the booklet maker module. Which staples and folds, and it is required to have the finishing module, which is cutting the face and making the book square.
Okay.
So, and that is the basic configuration which you can use by hand feeding, or add feeder with two high capacity bins, or you can add also the integrated feeder on the bottom of the machine.
And okay, and what is the value from it?
With 3 bins, you can combine these 3 bins in any order that you prefer. One of the examples of combination is that if you are using two printers, black and white printer for economy and a color printer for covers, yes. So you can put printouts from different printers in each bin. Yes, that is one way of working. Second way of working if you link the bins and with all the media the same in each bin is the same, and when one bin is finished, it automatically starts feeding from the next bin, and you can reload the first bin with the same work and just close it, and the system continues to produce without stop. And of course you can combine some more options. If you have three bins from digital print, you can combine even more. Yeah, so.
Okay, so and what is the estimation of productivity of this machine? How much booklets we can do? Yeah.
Yes, the average what we expect is around 50,000 per month.
Okay, and per hour, if you count.
Sorry.
Per hour.
Per hour, the speed, the slowest speed is around 150. If we are making the thick books, up to very close to 2,000, 1,900 for smaller size and less page count. Yeah. So,
okay.
Yeah, and these tests we can do if you prefer to know exactly. You can ask us exact jobs, and we can make a productivity test, and just you can calculate how much it would take on our system to produce, and because it depends on paper and settings, different.
Yeah, of course. One more thing, what is the maximum thickness of the brochure?
Yes.
How many pages it could?
In standard machine, we have 35. Yes, it means 35 sheets of 80 gram we can feed, and then we have the upgrade kit for 50 sheets. 50 sheet upgrade kit allow you to feed 50 sheets of 80 grams. Yes, okay. or 48 sheets with the thick cover, and that is already coming out as a 10 millimeter thick book, which looks like a magazine. Yes.
Yeah, it's 200 pages approximately.
200 pages, yes, and it gives us possibility to steal some jobs from perfect binding. Yes.
Yeah.
Or make thick books for the price of staples and automatic way, not so complicated as a glue. No need for cutting afterwards or some drying time or something.
Yeah, it's much quicker.
Yes, and a little bit faster also. And second question is we can squeeze in more information. For example, in operator manuals, we can put more languages in one book. Yes, today is a tendency for example, if you produce washing machines or fridges, you need the operator manual in all European languages plus other. Yes, so because the market is the same. So you need the bigger books, thicker books, bigger size books, and that is maybe interesting in some areas.
Yeah, we'll see also get some discussion from the customers. So yeah, you're totally right. Okay, so one more thing. I would like to thank you for short presentation, and also want to tell that tomorrow you have an open days in Riga. Yeah, it will be the Plugmarket open days in Riga, and the people and the customers could come and to see the whole portfolio of Morgana.
Yes, if you are interested in this system or any other systems that we are producing here, tomorrow on 23rd of September from 11 o'clock, I will be waiting you here in Riga together with my technical team, and we will have some snacks and coffee table and stuff as usual. So that day is tomorrow. Yes.
Okay. So thank you, Tom, and meet you tomorrow in Riga.
Okay. Good luck for today's event, and bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Kviečiu pakeisti jūsų požiūrį į skaitmeninę spaudą. Šitą mašiną suteikia tikrai daug galimybių. Anksčiau skaitmeninė spauda buvo gan pragmatiška. Su ją galima buvo padaryti tik ribotą kiekį spaudos ir be abejo senosios analoginės technologijos viešpatavo mūsų rinkoje. Tačiau ši mašina duoda jums visiškai kitokias galimybės. Tai yra ir išskirtinė spauda, tai yra gerokai platesnis visų popierių ir kitų medžiagų panaudojimas, įskaitant ir plėveles, lipdukus, ant kurių galima sėkmingai spausdinti su šia mašina, visiškai naujas atsiveriančias rinkas. Tai ne tik tradicinė komercinė spauda ar kažkokių tai žurnalų brošiūrų spauda, tai ir stipriai augantis pakuotės segmentas, kuris dabar COVID akivaizdoje yra ryškiai padidėjęs ir panašu, kad tikrai nesimato jam ribų. Kiekviena parduotuvė, kiekvienas biznis nori kažką tai supakuoti ir pateikti vis įmantriau ir skaitmeninė spauda atranda didesnę nišą tokių produktų kūrybai ir išpildymui. Kadangi tiražai kaip ir visur mažėja, visi žmonės ir visos įmonės ieško unikalių spaudos elementų, kiekiai užsakomi yra pakankamai nedideli, taigi skaitmeninė spauda čia turi ypatingą rolę ir ateityje vaidins vis svarbesnį vaidmenį. Tai visų pirma galimybių įrankis, leidžiantis jums laisvai kurti, o ne tiražuoti standartinę spaudą. Jeigu jūs svajojate apie platesnį darbų spektrą, norite atliepti klientų dabartinius poreikius, šis įrenginys tobula investicija. Xerox Iridesse spaudos mašina tai unikali technologija, į kurią suinvestavus dabar tikrai nepasigalėsite ateityje.
Tikiuosi, pranešimas buvo naudingas ir sužinojote kažką naujo. Kviečiu išklausyti antrojo pranešimo, kurį pristatys Andrew Wood, XMPie sistemų analitikas. Pranešimo tema XMPie Web2print automatizuotos personalizacijos ir komercijos platforma. Taip pat kilus klausimams būtinai jūs užduokite svetainėje www.bmk.lt arba elektroniniu paštu info@bmk.lt. Turiningos prezentacijos.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Andrew Wood. I am from XMPie. I've got around 35 minutes or so to talk to you about our Web2print portal offering called StoreFlow. I work across EMEA, but I am based in the UK. I'm going to start with a couple of slides just to explain who XMPie are and what we do. And then I'm going to spend the rest of the session giving you a live and dangerous demo of some of our Web2print portals and products that we have in those portals. So XMPie were formed in 2000 by some people who at that point worked in a company called Cytex, who some of you may remember. We have upwards of around 7,000 customers now in over 100 countries. We are a Xerox company, so we are owned by Xerox, but we've kept our branding because it's quite strong in the marketplace. We have employees located in 10 different countries, speaking lots of different languages. Most of our customers tend to be graphic communicators, but are probably, 12–15% of them are enterprise customers as well. If you're interested in some of our customers, there are case studies on our website, XMPie.com. I invite you to take a look when you can. What do we do at XMPie? Well, we have three main offerings. The first is variable data print, and this is providing composition of documents that can be sent to a printer that is substantially different every time for every record. We also offer a Web2print portals, which are built on top of the same technology we use for variable data printing. And finally, we offer a cross-media communication platform that can use the same tools that you use for Web2print and variable data to communicate in a cross-media multi-channel way. All our software is underpinned by the Adobe suite of products, and it's very central to what we do. And I'll show you a little bit more of that as we go forward. So without any further ado, let me give you a bit of a demo of some of these things so you can have a see of how they work. So we have on the internet, we have a portal here, which is essentially some demo stores and some of the demo products as well. There's quite a lot of stuff on here, and it is open. So if you do wish to have a look and have a play, go ahead. It's xmpie.com/kiosk. I'm going to talk you through some of these Web2print stores that are at the top here. And just to give you a feel for some of the products, I'm going to use different ones so you can see kind of different branding and things like that. Let's start by looking at a couple of these stores so you can see what's happening. So we have on here that's kind of designed to show lots of different types of printed documents. And this is, as you can see, we have a navigation ribbon across the top with product groups. We also have a customized section here in the central panel that shows marketing messages. Further down, we have parts of the store which essentially come for you to customize. We can point to different products, different product groups, different offers. And then down at the bottom, we have a footer area as well, which you can put corporate information and links, etc. Now, our system is built on a modern platform called React.js, and it means that it's mobile friendly and responsive across all devices. I need to move this out of the way. There we go. We also support different languages within a store. So for instance, if I change to French here, you'll see all the store translation changes to French. And also, if I choose a different store here to show you a different look and feel, let's choose the Presso Cup store. This is branded as a franchise-facing store, business-to-business type store. But you can see here the branding looks different, but the core of what's here is the same. So we have a ribbon for navigation, product groups, and then different branding. We can also offer different currencies as well within the same store. The idea being that you can provide different languages and different currencies to your clients. Now, our platform is very flexible, and we allow you to create lots of different stores on one system. So we don't kind of charge you by store, but we do, we allow you to create a store for different customers, branded in different ways, with different products, different languages, different currencies and prices, etc., all on the same platform. So it's a great way to build business-to-business facing portals, as well as business-to-customer type applications too. I want to step through a few of these different products to give you a feel for the kind of things that you can offer through the portal. And let's start with the simplest idea, and this is the idea of a static product. So this is a product that doesn't change whenever it's ordered. So this may be something like merchandise or products. It can be any kind of product, really. It's really simple to configure. If I just click through, I get a window to order it with a preview. And then if there are any different properties for this, like in different colors or things like that, they can be listed here in the product setup. I can just change my quantity and get a price updated and add it directly to my cart. The same thing goes for printed items. So here we have, for instance, stationery, and this is a letterhead, an envelope. These are, of course, printed. They may be printed in real time as they're ordered, or they may be pulled off the shelf. The point being that we can handle the artwork in the background. So whenever this is ordered, we can submit this artwork into a workflow and then onto a printer in the background, without you having to interact with it, essentially. So it goes all the way from the customer ordering it from their shopping cart all the way through to production without anybody needing to touch it. Let me show you something slightly different. So this is a what we call a dynamic product. And a dynamic product is a piece of print usually, but it could be a t-shirt or a cap or something like that, but where the print changes. We have here a coffee card, and this is set up to show how easy it is to kind of customize the document. This step we're looking at here are the product details. We can contain some descriptions and some price breaks as well. But on the next screen here, this is customization for this product. This is a really simple one. It just pulls in a name and address. So if I just go into here and change this to be something I know, something local to me. This gives me a new address. And if I refresh the preview of this document, it will take this address information and give me a card that is appropriate to this address. The front is the same, but the back has a map, it has an address, and it has an encoded address in the QR code as well. So this is information taken from the store driving document composition. We get a preview here, which is actually on my other screen. I'll get it up for you. And this, we get a much larger preview so you can see, check what's happening with the document. Now, this preview is generated by the same production engine that creates the print, so you can be sure that what you're seeing on screen is accurate to what is going to print later on. That's kind of central to what we do. So whenever we show you a preview of a product within a store, we're showing you a live preview of the product as it will be printed. Let's look at something in a different store. So in here, there is a kind of financial corporate branded store. And then we have an example. Well, maybe this is worth pointing out, actually. So this store is set up to be B2B, business to business. You'll see that I have to log into this store. I can't access any of the products. The other stores I've shown you are free to browse until you want to order something. So you can browse the other stores until you're ready to check out. But for B2B, you need to be able to sign in first. You don't want to offer these products to everyone. So I'll sign into this store here. Let's look at business card. Now, I know a business card is a common example that people like to show for Web2print, but I think the main reason that it's important is because there's a lot of work goes into customizing a business card in terms of setting the type and obviously multiplying these up onto a sheet. So there's quite a lot of work involved. And what I'm showing you here is a way of being able to do that through a portal so that the customer can order and you'll get multi-up sheets at the end. As you can see here, I have a web form, very similar to what I've just shown you with the coffee card, but there's much more information here. You'll notice that some of it is pre-populated, and this can be done from the customer's account. And so when I logged in, you can pull my information from the account and populate these fields if you choose to. If I hit refresh, you'll see it will take this information and give me a view of the card with the personalization applied. Okay. There is some branch information here on a separate tab, so you can separate your information if you have lots of it. Let's choose Buffalo. And also there's a photo here as well. Now we have the ability to upload a photo, and the photo will go into a placeholder on the business card. So if I choose a photo either from a library, so I can provide a library of images that the user can choose from, or I can choose to upload one. And hopefully I've got a really nice picture of me here somewhere. There we go. Now, this image may not be the right size, so it might not be the right proportions for where it needs to be placed. And we have a tool here that will allow you to crop this down into the right size so that it fits into the box. So let's just take my head. It can be predefined. It can be very flexible as well, but this is set up to crop in the right proportions so that when I apply it to the business card, it gives me the correct size. Of course, we can fit images to the box, or you can fill images to the box. Quite flexible in terms of what we can do with image fitting and text fitting as well. But in this case, we're cropping it to the right proportions and then fitting it dynamically to the box. Okay. If I go next, it takes me through to my final part of the item ordering. I can select quantity. You'll notice that this is actually set up in boxes of 250 cards. We do have a maximum order set for this as well. So let's have 3, gives me a new price based on that. I have the ability to get a proof here. And also, in order to add it to my cart, I need to confirm that I'm happy with the proof. So let me open the proof for you. Okay, you'll see what we were looking at previously. This can be either a JPEG or a PDF if you like. In order to add it to my cart, I need to check that I'm happy with it, and then I can add it directly to my cart. You see here my shopping cart, and from here I can just go through checkout at a delivery address and pay either via credit card or via invoice if it's a business-to-business type store. I'm going to show you some more products in these stores in a second, but I want to just take a quick step back, if I may. I wanted to talk about how these templates are created just really quickly. Obviously, I've not got much time today, so I can't go into too much detail. But this template here has been created in InDesign, and I'm going to quickly show you that. So this is InDesign here, as you'll recognize. We have our own plugin for InDesign called UCreate. UCreate does is it allows me to take placeholders for data and add them directly to the document. Those placeholders might just be text, so in the case of first name perhaps, and last name, and also where's it gone? Title. But they may be images as well, as you can see here with the guy in the box. Now, the reason we use InDesign is because it's really powerful. It's got great typography functions. It uses lots of different image formats. Its page layout, capabilities are kind of second to none. And more importantly, everyone knows how to use it. So it's very, very popular. We keep these documents as InDesign documents all the way through the process. So if you want to create a template, use it within the store, and then later on go back and edit it, what you're editing is actually an InDesign document. And it stays in InDesign the whole time. I have some sample data here, so I can kind of see what will happen to this design as I flick through sample data, and you can see that it gives me an on-screen live preview of what's happening as my sample data is changing. This helps me to design the template before I've got any data. From here, I can go ahead and save this directly to my server and then apply it to, or essentially configure it within the Web2print portal. So it's quite straightforward to do this, and because we're using InDesign, it's really powerful in terms of what you can do. I hope that makes sense. One other thing to mention, this plugin that we use for InDesign, we actually use for variable data print as well. So as a separate product, you can buy this plugin for InDesign, and it will allow you to create print files directly from InDesign on the desktop that you can send to your printer. So it's a good entry level for variable data print as well. It's exactly the same tool, and it's an example of how we use the same tools across all our product suite. Okay, let's go back to the portal and have a little look at some of the products, if we may. Where's my list? So in the kiosk here, there's a label and packaging store. This is a relatively new store, a couple of years or so, and we've got in here some nice new types of products. So one of the things we've done recently is to add a kitting option. You'll see here under other, there is a kit product, a birthday kit. Obviously it's an example, but this is an example of items that you can order together as part of a kit. So you'll see we have a crown. Well, we only need one crown because we've only got one birthday person. We might need 10 birthday boxes. Let's have 2 posters and just one roll of 36 stickers here at the bottom. This is set up very simple as an example, but you can have options as well here. So you could maybe have the stock type, whether you want gloss or matte. You could have the box type, that kind of thing. So they can all be set up in a very flexible way. You can see the prices updated at the bottom. And if I hit continue, it will take me through into the personalization or customization step. Let's think of having this for somebody called Samantha. You'll see on the right-hand side, before when I showed you a business card, we have a preview. Here we have a button to open a palette, and that's because each of these items has got their own preview. So you'll see for the crown, we have Samantha. For the boxes, again, we've got a preview, live generated using the artwork with the name on. For the stickers, it's the same. So through one simple customization step, we've created 4 different items, different designs, different quantities. Okay, and from there I can just go through and add this to my cart in the same way that I did previously. It shows me all the items, and as a customer of the store, I'm thinking of this as one kit of items. In the back office, of course, when these are ordered, you'll see these as separate production items, and they'll come through as separate print files. They can be routed to different output devices. So maybe the heavyweight, the box needs to go to one device, and the printed labels need to go to another. Handle all that with our workflow part of the solution called FreeFlow Core, which is actually a Xerox product and sits behind the storefront and allows you to channel products through different workflows to different output devices. This is actually really key because Web2print, obviously, you enable people to order things themselves rather than ringing you up and placing an order over the phone. And the idea is that you get your artwork all the way to the printer so that it can be printed without having to manage any of that with people. So that's kind of the goal of this, is to make sure that everything gets automated all the way through to the printer. Also in this store where did they go? Yeah, we also have the ability to show the personalization in a 3D way. So this is very similar to what you saw previously on the business card. So you can see I have some image selectors and some data to input. What I'm seeing on screen is no longer a flat preview. It's a 3D object. Okay, and this is a juice can. I'm going to show you a couple of other ones as well. Just to show you how this works. If I change the image, let's choose it. Choose the fruit. Maybe change the text. Hit refresh. What's going on in the background here is it's taking all these parameters. It's using InDesign to create me some artwork, and then it's using that artwork and wrapping it around the 3D model that we've added to this product. So you can see here we've got different customization, different image. So this is customization step driving different elements in the design. This is actually quite powerful in terms of what it can do. So there are some other products on here. One of them I wanted to show you was this robot. And now this is a multi-part objects. So it's designed with different parts as a head, a body, 2 arms, and feet. They're all kind of laid out on the same sheet, but they're designed to be cut out and finished. And you'll see if I change here some of these options, it drives the, let's have a red one, and we'll change the front. It drives the customization and gives me a new object, but across multiple parts. This is kind of quite powerful for things like display stands and retail applications as well. Okay, you'll see if I zoom in, I can move this model around. I've got the name here, I've got the color, and I've got the different design for the front. As well as being able to change the actual content of the print, we can change the way the model looks as well. And there's an example here linked from the front page, which is a flexible packaging. This is actually a granola pouch. If I open this one up and show you, this is designed in a slightly different way. So the idea here is that rather than customizing this to change items within the design, we actually upload a whole new piece of artwork that can be used to wrap around the product. Now, to that end, we have here the ability to download a template for this particular product. So if I click on here and just open it in Firefox for you, you'll see this is a PDF template, but it could be, it could be anything. It could be a CAD template if that's the kind of thing you need to provide to your customers. But it gives me the exact size of the document. And then I can create a PDF that's going to essentially be the artwork for this. I've got one here that I'm going to upload for you. You can kind of see how that's done. So I'm going to take this, where are we? I'm going to take that PDF that I've got here, which is a chocolate version of the granola pouch. I'm going to upload it. So it will take this artwork, it will wrap it around the model via InDesign, and you'll see in the 3D preview the new version of the artwork. It just takes a second. So it seems to be a bit slow when I'm presenting. So if I come down here now and hit refresh, you'll see that it will change the artwork and give me a new packaging design. Okay. The reason I've come to this product is because I want to show you that we can affect the look and feel of the pack as well. So we've got different materials here. So for instance, we have a glossy version of this film. We have the ability to add holes to the model, and also things like alpha maps and things like that, bump maps as well. But if I just change some of these to go to glossy to show you how this works, you'll see it will use the same artwork, but it will give me a very different look and feel based on the material that this product's on. It's a great way to show kind of gloss effects as well. So this is a very different look and feel based on a glossy metallic film. It's also added a hole at the top, and you can also see the I forget the name of those, and the marks around the edge where it's been bonded together. Okay. You can do this with text as well. So if you wanted like an embossed serial number or something like that, you can show that through the model too. Now, of course, in the back office, as a printer, what you need here is a print file, so that you're not really interested too much in the model, but you're very interested in the artwork. The model is just a way of presenting to the customer of the store what they're going to buy and seeing it in a nice 3D way. Now, not necessarily just for 3D products, really, because it also applies itself to flat printed objects. So we have a couple of examples here, and I'm going to show you this business card. This has been designed for Iridesse, so you can see it has metallic ink on it, but rather than showing a flat preview of the business card, you've actually got a 3D preview that you can flip around and look at both sides. And you can see the sheen of the ink as well because of the light source that's associated with the model. Let's change this to silver so you can see how that works. And the models themselves, we accept standard interchange format for the models, and you can create them using any software you like, essentially. So this a flat card like this is very simple to do, but the 3D can or something would take just a little bit of skill. But we do accept standard models for these things. Okay. Usually at this point, I'd stop and ask for questions, but I wouldn't. Well, I believe we're not doing questions today. So that's almost everything I wanted to say. So I'm kind of done for now, and I'd like to thank you all for your attention. Obviously, if there are any questions, you can send them over on the email and I'll answer them for you.
Dėkojame Andriui už turiningą ir įdomų pranešimą. Trečiąjį pranešimą pristato Glorian, EFI technologinis pardavimų specialistas. Pranešimo tema EFI PrintSmith Vision gamybos valdymo sistema, integruojama su EFI spaudos kontroleriais. Smagaus žiūrėjimo.
Good afternoon, everybody. I think I should be live now and in the broadcast, and you can hear me and see my screen if everything's okay. So welcome and hello from Belgium. My name is Philip. I'll be talking to you in the next 30 minutes about EFI PrintSmith Vision, which is an MIS for small print shops, CRDs, and implant organizations. Just a short introduction about myself. So I've been in the graphic arts industry for over 25 years. I'm a technical sales specialist for more than 9 years now at EFI, and I do the pre-sales and post-sales support for the indirect channel for our Web2print, MIS, and layout optimization software. EFI itself, EFI is a worldwide company with more than 30 years in innovation and technology. It has over 3,000 team members, employees, and about 1,300 people or more are in research and development. The picture that you see is our nice new building in Manchester, New Hampshire, United States, where we have our demo center and our main offices. So let's start with the actual presentation of today and the topic that I'm going to talk to you about today, which is MIS ERP system for smaller printers, implants, and CRDs. So obviously, just to position it today, as always, as it has been over the last 5 or 10 years, I guess, your customers are always demanding for faster turnaround times, for higher qualities, and for best prices. And for you as a smaller printer, there are some challenges in there, of course, because you have a limited budget. You usually do have experienced personnel, but limited availability and capacity, and they're not cheap. As a small company, if somebody falls sick or leaves the company, it's always a bigger impact, of course, than when you're a bigger company. Nonetheless, you're trying to compete with big print service providers, that's the PSP, and you're competing for the same market and the same customer. Basically, and I think you can relate to this specifically. I think as an owner or as a co-worker of a smaller printing company, you identify yourself, I guess, as a multitasker. You do the sales, you reach out to your customers, and you try to get in the sales. You try to close the jobs. You follow up on the jobs and the estimates, your customer service as well, and you do the job preparation and production. You step in where it's needed to get the job done and to get it produced in time. And when everything is done, you probably spend after hours or in the evening going through different bits and pieces of the administration and sending out the invoices to make sure that you get paid. Now, we often see that bigger MIS ERP systems and classic systems, they definitely lack, apart from the fact that they're often very, very expensive, they also even lack integration, automation, and very often are not very easy to use. They're not simple to deploy, to set up, to configure, and they have sometimes some weird UI logic. So introducing PrintSmith Vision here, because we believe that PrintSmith Vision is a software solution that is really meant and targeted for your market. It is a 100% cloud-based solution, so it can be hosted on our servers in Europe. And it's an MIS that is designed, as all of our products, specifically for print and designed also for small businesses. Goes without saying that it's easy to deploy and to work with, and we'll look at it in a moment. It uses your favorite web browser, basically, and also for the deployment, the configuration, and installation. There's no need for in-house IT expertise on servers or software or security. We take care of all that by hosting it onto our servers. Now, nonetheless, it is a comprehensive solution. It has all the different bits and pieces that you expect in your day-to-day process, with estimating, job conversion, job production, and follow-up. Being able to do the shipping with the shipping integration module. It allows you to manage your accounts and draw statistics, look at reports, do some CRM as well, of course, and obviously at the end you're able to do your invoicing. Additional modules are available as well to do shop floor data collection and also scheduling. So just a couple of screenshots here, so you can relate when I go through the actual demo, right? To start with, you'll see a dashboard, which is your starting screen in the application, with a customizable layout, with access to functionality and features that you need on a day-to-day basis. So shortcuts straight away into certain parts of the software, to-do tasks, so you can communicate with your employees and with your customers. Quick access to estimates and jobs, like I said. Estimating is the first, let's say, the start of the process. You can very quickly see all your pending documents and view, for example, estimates that you're doing, the jobs that you're running, web orders which have come in through potentially through your web shop, with some key info that you can immediately look at, like what was the sales price, what specific location is the job in at the moment, so you can quickly give your customer or your employees, your co-workers, the right information. Again, on the estimating itself, a very complete estimating solution with obviously setup of your costs when it comes to presses, and we support any kind of press, offset, roll fed, digital and cut sheet, digital press, large format as well. You'll define your printing method, basically your job method. You'll add material. materials as well, of course, will be you'll be able to add those to the system and to give your markup so that you can calculate your price. We support multiple quantities and any charges that you want to add. Like in this screenshot here, you see that you can add charges, costs, let's say, for pre-flighting and imposition, which could be standard cost for every job that you do. You can also say, okay, I need to do some design with 2 stock images that I need to purchase. I'm going to ship it or going to put it in an A4 box. You want to cost for that, and then eventually the shipping. So all those charges, all the costing can be added to your estimate. So you get a correct and a good estimate, where also you can see that you've got your estimated and your actual cost with the margin that you can compare. So you can see, of course, whether you're making money on that specific job that you're going to potentially run. And also you see that column where it says actual, that actual data that will be updated as soon as you start running into production, and potentially you have the shop floor data collection module. Sending out quote letters, of course, straight away through an email. You have the possibility to create your email templates. This is the actual estimate, then the quote letter that has gone out to the customer. You can customize that with your own logo. You get full information, or your customer gets full information about the job that is running, potentially multiple quantities there as well. Then, of course, production follow-up. You see an overview here of the jobs in production, the possibility to send to the fiery controllers with bidirectional communication. So once that job is printed, you'll get feedback straight away back into the MIS system. It will update your estimated and your actual costing and allow you for a good cost comparison. Of course, a job ticket is available at any time, which can be pulled up by your operators. And then, of course, when it comes to actually collecting some data about your customers, you've got KPIs that you can look into. What sales have you done with that customer over the last couple of months or weeks? That is also available. And then invoicing, create an email, the invoices straight away, post the invoice to the system, and then potentially, here is an example of an invoice, again, can be customized to your own layout and with your own logo. And then when the invoices have been sent out, you can also integrate and send out to the accounting software to have that information synchronized. Extra module is there as well for shipping integration. The order is preloaded from the MIS, of course. Packaging instructions then can be printed out or will be printed out according to the number of boxes that you have packed. So you will print out the shipping labels and the box labels and so on. Email notification is taken care of, and all the information, of course, is sent back to the MIS system to follow up. Also to production, that is something that I've already spoke about. Fiery integration to the EFI Fiery controllers, and just to round up here, and then to move over to the demo in a minute. So the PrintSmith Vision software allows for you to keep those short runs profitable and to be able to manage your production. It will help you in controlling your costs and reducing manual operations, improves the complete process from start to the end until the invoicing. You'll be able to collect your information for process analysis and centralize data. So that is a key thing, of course, for you as an owner of the company to be able to see, okay, where is my profitable business? Where do I need to improve on? You're able to identify bottlenecks potentially, see if you have to invest in new resources, hire new people, or buy a new machine. And obviously, the most important thing is you'll be able to shorten your order delivery time and make your customers happy. So that was an overview on the presentation. So let's have a look now at a live system. And as you can see here, I'm just going to log in using Firefox web browser. And I'm logging in here to one of our own hosted servers of PrintSmith. So we come into the dashboard. This can be fully customized. You see the shortcuts to the different modules and functionalities of the system. So you can create estimates, invoices, obviously. You have your dashboards with the pending documents and work in progress. You see possibilities to manage your accounts and your contacts, to see account history as well, see the estimate history, manage your stock as well, or order new stock, for example. So you've got a quick access to all those different functionalities. And again, here on the left-hand side, again, different menus, but basically the same functionality. So let's start off here by creating an estimate first. So obviously, the first thing that I need to do is I need to say for which customer that is going to be. So I'm just entering some characters, and the list is automatically filtered. Pulls in here my contact person. I have potentially multiple contact persons with different delivery addresses. That is possible. And I can see here that there's different ways to start a new estimate. I can create a new job, so basically just from scratch, pick the type of job, if it's a digital, if it's an offset printing job, or I can look at my history of that account and see, for example, which estimates that I've done for that customer. So if, for example, the estimate that the customer is asking me is very similar to one I've done previously, I can select that one, simply click here, next. And I basically am asked, okay, do you want to update any price definitions for that invoice or any other details? So sure, I want to do that. Maybe my pricing for my material, for my paper has gone up. So I want to, of course, update that. And then basically, I can immediately go to the job details. There you go. We see this is a multi-part job. There's a cover, and there is a black and white part as well, which is going to be the 40-page text. So apparently this job here, this estimate was for the cover to be printed offset and the text to be printed digital. So obviously I'm going to update the title of the estimate itself, and I'm going to say, okay, this is, I don't know, Vilnius marketing brochure or something. Okay. Just confirm that information. And as you can see here, there was an original quantity of 1,000 with a calculated price of 1,276. In this case, for example, it could be that my pricing, that my quantity now is for just 500. And so as soon as I enter 500, it recalculates the price to that quantity. And again, I can drill into the details here. I can look at my cover. So the cover here, printed on the press, Heidelberg Speedmaster B1 on that stock, 2 colors. And all of that, of course, is immediately reflected in my pricing. The press and the stock basically make up the original price here of 153 at the moment. I also see that my plate here, that I've got 4 plates, which is exactly what is required here for this imposition here. And potentially, maybe in this case, I'm also doing some varnish this time. Okay, so something new that I want to add. I can quickly go in here, add the varnish charge. Okay, which is calculated apparently on the quantity that I need, and also on the percentage coverage. So if the percentage coverage in this case is now, for example, not 25%, but it is, sorry, it's 80%, then that pricing now is updated, and I can add that as a charge to my total estimate. Okay, the second part of the job is black and white digital. Okay, so that's running on an SRA3. Sheet size, the final size is A4, of course. Quantity is 500. I'm not going to change anything more about that one. Just confirm here, and then go to the estimate summary, where I get a possibility to look at all my costing for the different parts. Yeah, I see the estimated. I see the actual. Actual, of course, is not going to change at the moment, but I also see my margin here, and I see the margin on the 2 different pieces that I have. So I can, of course, I can come in here and say, for example, well, I want to do some price adjustment because I don't want to sell with any loss. So if I overwrite that price now, oops, it has gone over to 700. Yeah, so I just made that change. That's gone over to 700 now, and now at least I have I'm making money again. I've got at least a bit of an estimate here, a bit of a profit on this job. So I'm going to save this. And then I can email that straight away, that quote, to my customer. It's going to pull in the email address from my customer. It's going to attach my estimate, my quote letter to the file. And here you can see this is just a pretty blank quote letter. Let me just back up here and change that. So you have different layouts that you can use. And I'm going to update that one and show you that that's very quickly to change simply the layout, change the different reports that you can configure in the system. Okay, this one here is now describing the complete work with the cover, with the type of paper that you have, pre-flighting and the imposition and everything. So that's a full quote letter that you can send out to the customer. So my customer comes back, says, yep, okay, I'm fine with that. I'm going to accept your offer. And so I can convert this now to a job. I'm not going to update my pricing anymore this time because I've made an agreement with my customer, obviously, and I'm going to save this. And this now has been assigned a number automatically, a job or an invoice number 523. This is basically now where this is ready to go into production. So I'm going to go here over to this screen, to the work in progress, just mindful of my time here. And I can see here all the jobs which are in production. I'm going to search for my job 523. There you go. So this here now, for example, I can do the following. I can have someone in production look at this, say, for example, okay, I'm going to assign this job here to Dave. Okay, Dave is going to do this job here. And so he gets those jobs assigned. Dave, in his turn, is going to come into the same screen. And obviously, he's going to filter on the jobs that he needs to run. Okay, so Dave can look at that. So this is a very basic type of production follow-up that you can do. And obviously, he can say, for example, well, this now is ready for production. Okay, and this one here is going to be outsourced. Okay, so it is going to be outside production. Okay, because maybe you're not doing the offset printing yourself. You're going to outsource that to another company. Here, for example, what I can also do, I can submit this job straight away to my Fiery. Okay. Obviously, I need to assign the PDF file to that as well. Okay, so that happens also in PrintSmith. So you have the possibility here to come and to say, okay, I'm going to add a digital asset. Okay, so for example, just a PDF file, which I can come up here with and say, okay, let's just drag in, or let's just take this 44 pages and upload that. And then this one here now is ready to be sent over now to the Fiery. On the Fiery, just a quick look here on the Fiery itself. So these jobs have been printed today or yesterday, and on the Fiery, the JDF integration is playing. Okay, so it's a bi-directional communication between the two systems. You can see here the job that comes in from the MIS system has the job ID, okay, 521. It also has information about the job itself, like the customer ID, the name of the job, any instructions that you want to give. It also has the run list, the PDF file linked to that. And when it has been run, you will see that the actual number of sheets are going to send back to the MIS system. Right, so we've done the quote, we've done the job itself as well. Once the job has been produced, obviously, let me jump here back into 523. Okay, we want to go and ship this. Okay, so and here's where the actual shipping integration comes into play. Just going to save here my job. And then say, okay, I'm going to punch out to the shipping module. Shipping module here now is, like I said, it's an option. It pulls in all the information from the MIS, so I can immediately see my ship from and my ship to data. So the customer that I'm going to ship this out to. I also see the shipping method, and I see here what the exact job is that I'm going to ship out. So, for example, I'm going to say I'm going to pick this specific box type. I'm going to pack the 500 quantity, pack that immediately into one box. It's going to appear here. There's no scale attached. You can also attach a scale, which will then automatically pull in the weight of the box. I now need to put it in manually. So, but I have here my box type. I've got my indication that there is just one box going to go out. And if I now hit process shipment, then it's going to print out my shipping labels, my box labels. It's going to send off an email to the customer and with a tracking code. So we're punching out here to, in this case, to the DPD website. Yeah. And if I go and look at the details of my delivery ticket, so this is all information coming back from the shipping module. I get my tracking ID, I see my weight, and the emails and everything, that's all being taken care of by the shipping module. Fine. When everything is shipped, what's one of the final things, obviously, that I need to do? I need to invoice my customer, and that, of course, is also possible. I'm going to go in here, say invoice pickup, going to indicate that invoice, do potentially any other changes to the pricing or cost. If there's additional costs that have been incurred, I can still do that. As soon as I'm going to click here, proceed, and then print that email and post it, the invoice is closed, it's finished. I cannot change anything anymore. I can send this out to my customer as a proof that he needs to pay. And obviously, you can come back here to the dashboard itself, and using the report manager, send a report with all your invoices, with all your jobs to your accounting system, so they can also register those potential invoices and simply follow up on them. I'm looking here at the time. I think I'm getting close to the allotted time that I have. I think I've got another 3 minutes, if I'm not mistaken. So let me use those final 3 minutes to show you something about the accounts. So you saw that already in the presentation. I can look here at my different accounts, and picking one of these, I can, of course, manage invoice address, contact details, but I can also see here some quick data about what business I've done with that customer over the last 3 months, or the last 6 months, the last year. So some quick graphs that I can look at. Obviously, I can do more as well. I can go here to my account histories, pull up from a specific account, for example, say, okay, again, my good customer Shorefront UK, I want to see all the invoices, or I want to see all the payments that he has done. Okay, so you can very quickly have access to that information, quickly switch back and forth. So I'm hearing some noise that kind of draws on my attention to the time. So it's obviously an MIS. Again, I hope I've shown that, I've been able to show that to you. You can access it through your web browser. It's a very user-friendly. It has all the functionality. And more importantly, it integrates with shipping. It integrates with potentially with your accounting system. Something that I have not mentioned, it also integrates with Web2print. You can also put a Web2print storefront before it, and simply allow those jobs to come in automatically into the MIS as well. Okay, I think I'll leave it here, so there's a bit of a smooth transition to the next speaker. I hope you've been able to follow it and haven't spoken too quickly. I know that's one of my bad things, of my bad habits, and I hope it was worthwhile. I will leave my contact details, and obviously, if you have questions about our products or about what you have seen today, feel free to reach out to Domindagas or directly to me if you have my contact details. For now, thank you for your attention, and bye-bye from Belgium.
Ačiū Filipui už aktualų pranešimą. Ketvirtojo pranešimo autorius David Firlefin, ESCO programos pardavimo vadovas. Pranešimo tema ESCO automatinis grafinių failų redaktorius. Primenu, kad kilus klausimams būtinai jūs užduokite svetainėje www.bmk.lt arba elektroniniu paštu info@bmk.lt. Smagaus žiūrėjimo!
Yes, ready to go. Good afternoon to all of you. We'll be holding a 25-minute presentation on how we think ESCO can help you meet your needs and also the needs of your customers. After this presentation, you will be able to ask some questions as well in the room, or you can address these questions later on through our partner or directly to me. All right. The presentation will be having two parts. One is about automation and integration of your MIS or ERP system, as I believe you have just seen presentations of possible solutions in your environment, and how we think ESCO can help you connect to them and be even more productive in your pre-press and pre-production or production environment. All right. Let me first start with explaining or positioning a little bit our solutions. By the way, I hope you can all hear me. Can I see a thumbs up from the technical room just to see if everything is in order? Thank you very well. Thank you very much. Let me first position a bit our solutions in your environment, or in general in the pre-production environment for mostly the packaging industry. We are present in brand management, as you can see on the top left icon, in design, in pre-press, in plate making, and in inline inspection systems. Today we'll be mostly covering design and pre-press, as we only have the 25 minutes, and this would be taking us otherwise far too much into detail, or we eat up too much of your time without you being able to understand perhaps even the core of our values or solutions. In design and pre-press, we have a few products that stand out. Today, we will talk about the one that you will see at the bottom center, called Automation Engine, which is an automating tool that will help you offload your operators of their most repetitive and mundane tasks, giving them the ability to focus on the more forward-looking or productive task that they should focus on. Okay, that's Automation Engine. We will see in a minute what we mean by that. Then you have, of course, color management tools. You also have CAD and structural design editors. You have project management and approval platforms like Web Center, which you will see in your top left. And then you have, of course, our PDF native editing software called ArtPro Plus. Again, today we will be focusing mainly on Automation Engine, firstly, and then secondly on ArtPro Plus. I should mention also that we have also plate making equipment for your Flexo environment. But of course, I assume you know these products, which are, of course, let's say industry standards, both in plate making as to plate exposure with the CDIs and the XPS lines. Good. So perhaps also a small word on the AVT line. Today, ESCO and AVT are one company, which means we also, apart from offering their products, we can also offer an integration between both product lines. Very well. But first, let's have a look at a presentation, or let's say a live recorded presentation of Automation Engine. Let me see how we can have it in here. There you go. Good. So in this presentation, you will see four products. Okay, you will see first of all let me play this. First of all, a automation engine, which is ESCO. You will see an MIS integration product, which can be a EFI solution, for instance, or another vendor, of course. Basically, anything that speaks XML looks at an SQL database or speaks JDF can be integrated. Okay, we will be looking at our native PDF editor, and of course we will having a look as well at customer approval over web. So first, imagine in your MIS system that you create a new order. In this case, we are just having a virtual MIS software. Okay, this is not a real MIS software that you're seeing today. It is just a simulation. Of course, an MIS system, as you've seen earlier, will have far more possibilities. But still, I believe it gives you an idea of how well you can integrate an MIS system with an automation engine. Okay, in this MIS system, you will, of course, give some details. For instance, some editing instructions for the operator, a specific approval method for the customer, either via email or via an approval platform, soft proof platform. You will add some customer details. You will choose a specific design, a label in this case, or upload a new design. Once you have that label or design, you will choose a specific imposition or step and repeat, use it as a reference, and of course a certain winding if in case you're in a label environment. Once you've done this, you will create a specific entry, a new entry in your MIS system. This is a registered entry or production job in your MIS system. Automatically, when this is entered, this will update your automation engine environment. In here, you can see that we'll connect the system to the platform. We will do some pre-flighting, we will do some editing, we will do some reporting, some online approval, some layout automation, and then send to the plate or the press. Very well. Good. Already, we have seen now that we've received some feedback from automation engine. Nothing is visible since it's automation, but something has been set up that our job in the MIS system receives a specific status update. Job was uploaded either by the customer or taken from an existing job database and sent to the automation engine, which will pre-flight that file and then send an OK back to the MIS system. We will see later on how this pre-file looks like. Good. A job will be created. This is automation engine now, where you will receive or you will see that some customer information was added and a to-do was sent to the operator. Okay, so you will see in here editing instructions. Please strap and change the barcode. These were exactly the instructions that were given from the MIS system to the operator, but now the operator is in his production environment, in his pre-press environment. Okay, so he has no visibility necessarily of the MIS. He just has visibility of his production environment with a specific message. Very well. Just for the purpose of the exercise, we will copy this information to show it in a more interactive way, because otherwise automation is a boring demo. Good. So in RPro now, our PDF native editor, we will open that job that was sent or uploaded by the customer through the or by a customer sales representative in the MIS system. So we'll do some PDF native editing. For instance, we will change the barcode automatically. We can just add the barcode and change the number to the standard that we've received again automatically from your system. We have some quality control tools in RPro Plus to check, for instance, a press registration error. As you can see in here, some small white lines will be created, which will need correction. We will do some automatic trapping to solve that issue. We do not touch the original PDF. Okay, again, we are native PDF editing here. We're just adding a specific layer with that trap information. In case you need trapping, of course, less needed in a digital environment, but if you still have an analog environment, it can be useful. If you now check the registration error, you will see that we have no visible effects anymore. Very well. So if you save, we can do much more in RPro. We'll see that later on. Now, the purpose of this first demo is to show you a specific flow. Very well. In the meantime, the operator will complete the task that has been assigned to him. He has checked the file. Of course, the file has been changed. Therefore, we will get some feedback again of a pre-flight to the MIS system, but also internally, we will create a report. As you can see here, we have a small pit stop report telling you we have some invisible objects, we have some black text that doesn't overprint, and so on and so forth. Okay, so this pre-flighting will be generated before, let's say, the editing is done in RPro Plus, in case you want to communicate it to the customer, or after the editing has been done. Why? Because via the editing, we've added barcode, we've added trapping. These are changes to the document, and we want to make sure that this is also pre-flighted, and therefore we generate a report. In this case, we're going to accept this pre-flight, small errors. We're going to ignore the warnings because we just want to continue with our production. Okay. Once this is done, again in the background, all checks are good. Okay, so just to summarize a bit, first, we did a pre-flight of the generic document. This was fine. Secondly, we edited the job in RPro Plus. Thirdly, we did an additional pre-flight to make sure the integrity of the document is guaranteed for production later on. And now fourth place, we're going to send an email notification to the customer for internal approval. Why? Because we have slightly changed the document. So the customer receives an email. By the way, this is all again steered automatically via automation engine, meaning we have captured the email from the customer from the MIS database, either through JDF or through the database. And now we're sending or taking that information to send an email to the customer with a specific report and with a link to an online approval platform. There we go. Customer just goes to his inbox, checks his email, just clicks on the link, and it will be taken automatically to this share and approve website that will show him, as you can see, the changed document. Well, you can see it in here. We have changed the barcode to the number we've passed, and we have also added a trap layer to the document. Again, the customer doesn't need any Acrobat or tool. He can just view online, because you know sometimes in Acrobat transparencies are not shown correctly, layers may not shown either. In this case, there is no error possible. The customer sees exactly what he will get in print in production. Can even check some separations, and if he wants to, he can add some comments saying everything is good, or still I need a specific change to my barcode. In this case, I approve. We commit to the approval, which means again a message is sent to automation engine. Hey, customer has approved this file. Signal is coming in. Fine. Let's continue with the job. So you can see in here again in your MI system, you have a status update. Yes, telling us the file has been approved by the customer. I realize this is an automating demo about automation. Therefore, you don't see a lot. Why? Because automation is all about doing things in the background and giving you updates, giving updates to the operator, giving updates to your CSR, to your order entry department. Very well. So this is approved. You get your feedback again to the MI system. Very well. And then the operator will get an order to do normally. Oh, before getting to the to-do, I will just show you a little bit as well that you can always track what happens in your production environment. All right, so everything, all the steps that I just told you are just in there. We also, which is nice for internal quality control, we've also created a report, which is a template that will be wrapped around your job. As you can see in here, with some specific production information that can be interesting for the operator to continue with this job envelope. Okay, this is again just a PDF. In this case, with this specific file that was trapped and with the barcode, of course, you can see that. And you will see that you get an overview in here of the separations that you have in the job. If the barcode was checked, if the winding is correct, all this information is captured in this report. The separations are also captured in the report, so you can easily do a quality control and have a job envelope for your production. Good. If all goes well, we should have now the to-do exactly And then the to-do is now, please continue with your production. All right, so you have a specific printing sequence. In here, it's a very simple step and repeat that we're going to do. You can change it dynamically if you want to. In this case, we're just going to start a production and start the step and repeat. This step and repeat will again happen in the background. Happening in the background means he will add some production elements that are relevant for your prints. Let's look at them. In this case, very, very simple. We have just added some marks. There you go. We've also made sure that the die line is in there, but that the die line is also transparent. Okay, so let's check for that. This is internal quality control that we're doing now. So, of course, since it's all automated, we want to make sure we receive the right signals. We also want to make sure we have the right quality control tools at hand and readily available for the operator to follow up on his production. There you go. This is a bit more visible insights on the automation engine. Okay, it's basically, I can show it in this case, it's a workflow which is basically a number of actions or nodes, as we call them, where you can do, I think there is more than 500 actions that you can take in automation engine, ranging between doing step and repeats, automatically creating reports, connecting to the MIS, of course, notifications. These are all things that are easily configurable by just connecting these nodes with those spaghettis, I guess you can swing them, and these spaghettis will either be positive, I mean, go on a green path or go on a red path, which will give you a specific alert if something is not going well. But this is, let's say, the technology behind everything that you see is just this very flexible and configurable automation engine. This is a bit a recap of what we do and the advantages. Okay, so an order-oriented system, EFI as well. I mean, you can even connect to a Web2print system like the one of XMPie that you've seen before. All data related to the customer is registered there, and of course this can be sent to JDF or XML to automation engine, and if need be, it's a more old school method, connect to an SQL database, for instance. This will guarantee that you don't have double entries, no more retyping, no more reinterpreting, no more operator time that is spent looking at envelopes and copying data from there. This strong integration with the editors will give you also total production control and quality control. And of course, you can engage your customers with these approval platforms and also the email notifications that are sent to them. All right. This is what we call digital maturity, meaning you move from a system in which you do things less manual and you open yourself up for taking in more jobs, thinking more how you can creatively make your company different than other companies, because everything that is repetitive and redundant will just be automated in the background. All right, it's really a helpful tool that makes your company make giant leaps towards digital maturity. All right, together, of course, with Web2print platforms and MIS tools that are tuned for the graphics industry. All right, good. So this is the first part of that I wanted to talk about. It's all about automation, all about integration. Okay. Next step, I would like to talk a little bit about RPro Plus, giving you some problem statements there. It's all about error reduction, also automation engine, but this editor for sure will make sure that everything that is going wrong in a technical drawing that may end in a shelf is detected on time. No graphics errors, no copy errors, no text spec errors. These are all things that we try to avoid in RPro Plus. Okay, so it's basically easy to identify quality issues, and we'll see in a minute how that goes. Okay, so let me give you a few introductions. This one I like very much. It is a just if I can show it live, it's nice to show it live as well. Okay, let me open up RPro, take this document in here, and let's do a pre-flight on it. I'm sure you're familiar with pre-flight tools, perhaps Pitstop and so on, which is also, by the way, an ESCO company. But let's see if you can do some pre-flighting a bit more in an interactive way by using RPro. Okay, so in here you get a pre-flight, again, the specific pre-flight profile. Perhaps I went a little bit too far. You will see in here specific industry standards, yes, but also profiles that I've made myself because I want to do specific checks for my either digital workflow or analog workflow or offset workflow or flexo workflow or mixed workflow, hybrid workflow. I mean, every environment you can pre-flight towards with this tool. Okay, this pre-flight will give you a number of errors, as you can see in here. Hey, I'm expecting another barcode in here. Yes, please zoom towards the problem, and it will just zoom towards the problem. Okay, some of my text was not in overprint. He will again zoom towards this specific area of your design where you have that issue. All right. Image resolution again is not quite all right. Not a problem. I can go to my image over here and replace it if I want to by another one. All right, there you go. This is a nice one as well. Line weight, specifically in your specific offset or flexo environments, or even some digital environments as well. You want to make sure you can correct or quickly correct your line work. Again, you zoom towards the problem and you quickly are able to solve the problem interactively in the editor as well, as you can see in here. All right, so interactive pre-flight. We've seen in the video that you can, of course, quickly do separation management, that you can quickly also compare one document to the other, but perhaps more specifically, do some array detection, look about the object screening, check if you have doing this in Flexo, the Flexo print area errors. Okay, as you can see them in here. So it will create a kind of breakout area in here. Yes, if you're printing Flexo, for instance. But of course, if you're printing Flexo, perhaps more interested in seeing the total area coverage. As you can see in here, we have specific areas that have too high density or that go above a limit. Okay, it's just a quality control tool that will help you avoid errors in an automatic way. When I mean automatic, I really mean automatic. Let's see at this small video where we're going to show how we work with action lists on a specific document. Okay, so in here you see 3 specific files. We will now just look at one specifically, and we run a pre-flight check to find potential. We did that already. Okay, but more importantly, we will look at the separations, and we'll create a kind of an action list. Okay, this is an action list, a number of steps where we will create changes on the document regarding the dies, for instance. Okay, replace this name of the die by another name of the die. All right, actions. So in here we can do standardize inks for surface printing. Again, standardized to specific inksets that you have in-house. Okay, so we can treat separations. But there is many more things that you can do. We can also adjust page boxes automatically for the file. Very nice, just detecting edges or cat design if you want to. Okay, and you can of course do some more preparation and quality control as we showed earlier. Okay, so these are just actions that you can perform in your again in your RPro. Let's have a look at it, how we can do it. Close the pre-flight over here. Okay. Oh, I forgot to tell you about the report generating. Okay, this is interesting, where you can create this report whenever you do the pre-flight. There you go. It's always nice to see. Okay, we saw it before, but everything that we saw before, you can also report on it and look at the details and make sure this is communicated again in your job envelope and your history of your file. Okay, good. But perhaps a bit more about the action list. That is an interesting thing to look at. Okay, take out the total area coverage. Let's zoom in. And step and repeat is of course as well in there. Object selection. Let me have a look. Of course, we've seen the trapping. Okay, but I think it's quite clear on what we did with the action list. But I can show it to you. In any case, convert to okay. Demo. This is a nice one. Okay, good. Let me show you this action list in here. Oh, yes, he's looking at my server. This is why he's asking. But let me perhaps show you what a typical action list could look like. Okay, you can add barcodes, add bleeds. We will see that in a minute what we mean by that. Add dimensions, layers, create rich black, create white underprint. Convert to a specific metallic ink, for instance, or add a metallic ink above an object. This could be interesting for the digital printing equipment that is offered by your partner, by Iridesse, for instance. So you can connect or create a file that is having those specific separations. Convert, clips. These are all actions that can be chained one to the other. Quite interesting way of working. Again, offloading the operator, making sure the operator is actually can dedicate himself to other tasks. I think we discussed the report templates, and I think I don't have that much time anymore, but I will talk about the fixing bleed. Can be something that is actually, again, useful in your environment. There you go. Okay, so you can see in here that I'm going to show you a video on how quick you can set page boxes, importing a file and creating a bleed fix on a document. It's quite nice to see how in just a few minutes you can do something that takes 10-15 minutes in another job. Okay, so in here we have the border of the document, the trim box. There you go. And in here, it will spread the clip automatically. Okay. Instead of doing this in a manual way. Okay. Usually operators have to deal with these complex files. In this case, we just help you quickly creating a bleed and do it in just 32 seconds. You create a bleed. In another application, it would take you 3 times more. In Illustrator, it's going to take even more time. All right, good. So let me conclude this presentation by, I think we have the 25 minutes covered. Let me first quickly refer to the original presentation. Okay, where we can have an overview of our solutions, or the solutions that we've seen today. Okay, so I hereby offer you the possibility to ask some questions on this forum. Okay, let me know if there is something you want clarified more in detail.
Netrukus išgirsite penktąjį, paskutinį šios dienos pranešimą, kurį parengė Jörg Hüner, PrintSmith vyriausiasis konsultantas. Deja, PrintSmith pranešėjas negalėjo prisijungti gyvai sesijai, tačiau dalinamės įrašu su išsamiu PrintSmith sistemos pristatymu. Jo trukmė apie 1,5 valandos. Atsisveikindamas dar kartą noriu palinkėti turiningai užbaigti šią popietę. Gražaus vakaro.
Okay, so today I will give you a short overview about our PrintSmith system. The PrintSmith system is based on the Business Central platform and is having some additional functionalities on top of what the Business Central platform is providing to make the Business Central platform usable for the printing industry. So it means everything that you will see around calculations and planning, shop floor. This is what we see purely in PrintSmith. Everything that is around items, there we have, of course, additional information that is important for our printing industry. If we look into areas like an invoice, of course, it is just a sales invoice, but with some functionality that PrintSmith is creating some sales lines, so the invoicing lines for it. We have a shipment module in PrintSmith where you can do PrintSmith shipments, which are shipments that don't do anything than being a PrintSmith entry in a PrintSmith table where you can create shipping documents from. But we can also use the PrintSmith shipping part to create sales order shipments. So it means depending on what you need, if you need to handle items, if you want to handle add-on modules that can do some logistics integration to UPS or DHL, then you need typically sales shipments. So we can also do this from the PrintSmith shipments. So I will drive you through the system from the data input, from a request of a customer through production until we do a brief look into the analysis. So actually,
can you share your screen now?
I did. Oh, sorry.
No worries.
Thank you.
Okay.
I thought I already do it. So here's the screen.
We got it. Thank you.
Good that you say it. Otherwise, we would have a quite boring video, isn't it?
Indeed. Yes.
Okay, so what you see on the screen at the moment is a row center from Business Central with an area which is called PrintSmith cases, so activities around PrintSmith cases. And in this demo, I will show you two different row centers. The main row center where I can run most of the topics of today is the PrintSmith coordinator row center, and later we will also switch to the row center of a shop floor worker. So this is the operator on the machine. So these will be the two different row centers that we will be using, and each row center provides different functionalities, different areas that can be used. The PrintSmith coordinator row center is typically used for a person that can do estimates, which can work on requests, create a quote from it, and then later turn it into an order, do planning. So it means run a job from A to Z. So it means most of the things we will do on this coordinator row center. And the coordinator typically has all areas that we are able to create a new request or a new quote, a sales order or sales quote. So it means there are some quick links to certain actions. Otherwise, we have some functionalities where you can see more topics about PrintSmith areas, so the case management, project management, or on sales when we want to create sales orders or look into sales invoices and so on. Typically, most of the parts that PrintSmith handles around a product a customer is requesting we call a case. So it means in this PrintSmith case management, we have a list of cases. And what is a case? Yeah, as I said, everything regarding a product the customer is requesting, which can be an order, or it can be also just, let's say, calculation, and we later need to quote it. So it means it collects everything in one case. And it's there is a differentiation between the Business Central, where we create a sales quote and later turn it into a sales order. And then when we invoice the sales order, that the sales order will be deleted. In PrintSmith, we never delete anything, so we always have the possibility to get back to a quote that we have created a while ago and copy it to a new order and so on. Important for our cases is that we have people working on it. We have responsible persons. We have a coordinator. The coordinator is a person who is normally managing the internal sales for this product, and it has a certain status. And based on the status, the system knows who's responsible. And you can see actually that I'm responsible for 7 cases. I'm the coordinator of 10. 2 cases are delayed. The delayed cases are 2 from the 7 cases where I'm responsible for. And delayed does not mean that the delivery date is delayed. The delayed means a status has a certain stage, and internally we say when the customer sends a request, within 24 hours we expect to send a quote to the customer, because this is an agreement that the customer knows he will get the quote within 24 hours. If I don't do this, then this case will appear here as a delayed case. So delayed always means a time range that is set up regarding a certain status. We also have some cases completed and so on. So these are tiles. When I click on one of these tiles, it will just open the list of cases where I'm actually responsible. You can see here, I'm JH, I'm responsible for all these cases. And you can see some of them are overdue, because you can see the deadline. Here, this one is overdue. So there was a request. It seems I forgot to send the quote. And the 19th, the 10th, this one here, the Friday brochure. Yeah, today's not Friday, so we will not look at it. So these are the ones which are delayed because of the deadline. But all in all, this is just a list of cases. So it means I can also from here look into all these cases, and all these cases are just related to a certain product, which you can see here in the job name. So when I create a new case, so I just start one from scratch, then we are opening a new case card. I can just choose a customer. You can see I've just entered the name of my customer, John Haddock. I have a certain contact at my customer, which is Pamela. So I'm talking to Pamela this time, but you can see there is also another contact that I know, which is Tina. So sometimes Tina is also addressing some requests. So I can have all my customers and contacts in the system. And Pamela, I didn't select because she's the main contact for my customer, John Haddock. I can also create quotes without a customer. So it means it would be enough to have just a contact in the system. Later, when I'm turning the job into an order, then it need to be a customer. I have a reference field, which is something like perhaps a purchase order number from the system of my customer. And we have certain order types in the system. And these order types can drive different workflows. So it means depending on the order type, I might run through all the production steps. If I have just a job that is perhaps a certain internal gang run or so, then it might run a certain different workflow. And I'm now choosing one of my product groups. So the product groups is something that in the first place gives me some presetting for the calculation, but it also is then a term that we can use later for analysis. So it means we can see with which products we can make money and which products are perhaps not the best for our business. Some of these product groups has templates, so it means I don't need to start from scratch. So it means if I do a magazine or brochure, then it will come up with a certain template. So I'm doing my Monday brochure. And you can see here on the right-hand side some information about the case number. There is no quote number yet. There is no order number yet, because from the status, it says we are in the status of request. And we are setting up a certain workflow with each customer where the job flows through a certain sequence with a responsible person. So we will see this, that I'm changing the status step by step, and then you see the responsible person changing and also the deadline. And as I said, the deadline is related to our internal policy. So a request need to be turned into an order, into a quote within 24 hours. If I don't do this until tomorrow, so there is just a date formula behind it, then on Wednesday, this case will be delayed in the list of my cases where I'm responsible for. Okay, so let's create a job. So the system comes up with a suggestion for a certain product, 32 pages, or I can just override the pages. So let's say I want 40 pages, and the system provides certain format codes. So these are European format codes, so A4, A5. It can be also a letter or other sizes that you can just select from, or you can also just enter, of course, a size which you want to calculate. So let's say 20 by 28 centimeters. So this system is now set up in centimeters. It's a 4x4 color product. And if I go into my job card, so I have entered the basic information for my job, then we can see the system already comes up with a suggestion that we have two text parts. One is 32 pages, one is 8 pages, and it also comes up with a cover. So it means what we do in this window here is defining all the different job items that we need for the production, and PrintSmith also tries to split up the different sheets the way it is necessary, because if I have a certain sheet, I can just show you to the right, I can fit 16 pages on each sheet that is here set up. And then PrintSmith says, okay, then I have 2 times 16 pages to get 32 pages, and it splits up the residual sheets. So the 8 pages will be produced in 2 ups on a different sheet. I'm running my, my text part on a certain paper, which I can choose from my paper list here. So it means you can see these are the different papers that are in the system. I have some pre-filtering options so that I don't need to see all the full paper list. And you can see for each item, you can see what is the size, what is the weight. You can also see the price and the price unit. You can set different filters to find the paper that you are looking for. And let's say I want to do I'm just changing my paper now. So I'm using this paper for my production. So it means even if I'm using a template, of course, I can change everything that is coming up with a template. And the system suggests to use a certain press. So this list of unit is a list of printing machines that are set up in the system. You can see that that this is the list of machines. And it also comes up with a certain list of available hours. You can see my planning is only full on the KBA Rapida. So it means you can see today I have a lot of available hours, and during the week the machine is booked more and more. So it means normally if you have not just a demo system, then normally all your machines are quite booked. So you can see if you have a quick job that you need to deliver quite soon, on which machines you have a capacity. If you perhaps get a requirement, can you do this job until Friday if all data is available? So you can just choose the machines from here. And out of the first input, you can see in the system the calculation that is related on the first input. And this is the heart of the system. This is the main window where you need to decide, is this what you need, or is this something that you can change? So you can see actually the system comes up with a list of calculation units for some admin cost and for desktop publishing, some proofs. It is doing plates for the different text and cover parts. And we have some printing on different machines for the different job items. You can see here always the component which is being produced and the sheet number. For each of these calculation units, you can see in this lower section the calculated operations. So it means every machine is set up with its operations that will be produced, and what is the time that it takes, and what is the quantity that is calculated. We have hourly rates so that we can see for each line what is the sales amount of the line that calculates. You can see some lines are not calculating. This is because it is about different special colors. We are using just a 4-color job, so it means I don't need to do special cleaning. But this is just set up that you can do by yourself. You can see the system calculates the number of plates that need to be put into the machine. So we are talking about 2 sheets of 16 pages, so 4x4 colors, 4 plates to the front, 4 plates for the back side of a sheet. 2 sheets make 16 plates. And the system then calculates for these 4 plate sets 2 hours. And you can see the printing time is about 3.5 hours, so 3.5 hours. This is because of the printing quantity that is calculated and the speed that is taken from the actual speed table. So you have a speed table for every operation in the system so that you can get the totals for each the average speed for each operation, which calculates then with the calculated quantity the production time. And as I said, also, of course, then the sales amount. The totals of this, you can see.
Question for you.
Sorry?
What is the unit of measures for speed? You know, you have a car, it's miles per hour. Is it pages per minute? Is it sheets per minute?
That depends on the formula you're using. Okay. So it means this normally in the demo I would not show the formulas, but sometimes we need this, so the calculator does not need to see the formulas. If we are talking about plates, then of course it is the number of plates I can put into the system. And in this field we always show the speed per hour. So it means I can put 7.44 plates per hour into the machine.
Got it.
And of course, in the setup, you can say each plate takes 10 minutes. But since we don't want to show different columns here, speed per minute, speed per hour, or time per piece, we decided, okay, we calculate everything into how many can I do per hour. And you can see the basic setup of the machine. I can do 9 setups per hour, which only means in this case it takes about 9 minutes, right? So since I only do 1 time a preparation, it is just 1 time 7 minutes.
Got it. Okay, understood.
Okay, so what the calculator need to do is, you see I started up with a very simple job because everything was just set. I just changed the quantity of the pages, the number of the pages, and the format. But of course I can also change sequences in the calculation. So it means you can see it does cross-folding and it's a saddle stitch brochure. If I don't want the saddle stitching, I can just remove it and say the customer is asking for a perfect brown brochure. So I can just go into my overview of calculation units, and you can see here I have some filters for my different departments. And let's say the customer is asking for a perfect bound product. So it means I can just choose my perfect binding. So I can just change the calculation that comes up with the template, and now the perfect binding is calculating. You can see it calculates how many pockets do I need to set up. It calculates the quantity for the production, and the same with the speed, setup, and the time and calculated values. If everything is set up to be calculated automatically, it does what it should. You can see here on my desktop publishing, it is not calculating anything, right? So no total time calculated, no offered price. I don't know a formula for that. So sometimes you get the task from your customer, okay, can you make my models shine more, make more shiny? The time must looking like they are coming back from the beach and so on. So there is some manual work to be done, and this is sometimes difficult to calculate. But if you know your customers, the estimator typically knows, okay, that might be perhaps 2 hours of Photoshop work, and then that need to be put into some pages. So let's say perhaps 1 hour of Quark Express layout time. So it means you can also overrule the system with a guess of a calculation out of your experience, because you cannot set everything up into formulas. If you have a formula, no problem. But if you don't have a formula, you can just overrule it. And you can see now the desktop publishing takes 3 hours, and the offered price for this one will be 245.70. There is also a fact box, which also shows us while we are calculating what is the actual calculated price and the actual profit out of my calculation. So the final thing is, after I've set up my calculation, is that I take a look into my different sheets, how they are looking. And here in this specification card, you can see some paper information. What is the size of my paper? What is the coverage of my product on the paper? What is the printing size? What is the raw material size? We can also see what is the end quantity in sheets, because this is now calculated in sheets because it's a sheet press. So I need 20,000 sheets, raw material sheets. So 16 pages per sheet, 2 pages or 2 sheets of the 16 pages. It makes 2 times 20,000 net sheets. And then the system is also calculating some scrap, which gives then the total of 22,208 sheets for these 2 times 16 pages sheets. You can check this for all different areas. So this is.
Sorry, I have a question. How you calculate the scrap?
The scrap is set up per machine. So it means if we look back into the calculation, every process that is working on sheets is calculating scrap. So it means for the printing, I have some scrap for my plate setup. So it means, let's say you calculate 30 sheets basic scrap and then 50 sheets per plate, or you can set up subsequent plates. So it means in total for the setup, let's say you need 200 sheets, and then there is a running scrap for the printing operation. So you can see this one here says I'm printing 44,000 sheets. This is then the net quantity plus the scrap that the printing machine has calculated. And then out of the printing machine, I need to get some scrap available for the following processes. So it means the lamination, the cross-folding, and the perfect binding also need scrap. So it means the more steps you have, the more scrap the first process need to deliver. And then the last process will just get a little scrap. So you can see here we print 10,000 brochures. The perfect binding machine only has 140 products as scrap. So it means there is a scrap setup on each different machine, and the system is totaling up, and each machine delivers the required scrap to the succeeding machine.
Okay, thanks.
Okay. So if I've done my calculation, I'm going back to my job card where we have seen the different job items. You can take a look into what was calculated. So you can see here to the right, the estimated values, and they are more or less the same as the quoted values. The only thing is that I've set up some rounding for the invoicing. So it means I don't say 49.97. I round it up to a full amount. And now your customer might come back and tell you, okay, we can get this job from your competitor for 1,000 less. So I get it for 6,000. You can just try to see what it makes. So it means you just enter the 6,000 and then you can see some contribution margin is left, but not really profit. So it means you can decide if you don't want to go with this price, or you can tell the customer, when we do it without profit, it is this price. But normally we do a quote based on 12%. So you can play around with the pricing to get to the range the customer might accept. The system remembers, of course, which values you have changed, so that if you change quantities and so on, so that the pricing will go up and down when you calculate different variances of this job. on top of the calculation, you can also work with user fields. So it means on top of the calculation values, you also need some technical descriptions. You have some agreements with your customer. So you can see actually there is a set of fields where we have some preset fields. So it means typically we expect from our customer that we get PDFs ready for production. It could be also that they deliver just raw data. So it means just some PostScript files or other things. So you can choose from different options. And you can also have fields where you might not have anything to choose. So let me just see. I need to check which fields are allowed, where I can also edit. So you can have fields where you can only choose from the options, or you can have fields where you just type in additional information, like shipping not on Fridays, something like that. So it means it can be information internally, or it can be just information that you might print on a quote. So these fields, these user fields, are created by yourself. You can create any kind of field with default values that you need to fill up the information in a quote, or that you need to fill up the information on a job ticket, so internally or externally. After you have done this basic structure, so you remember we did 10,000 brochures, you can create different variances. So it means you can just create a new version. And this new version might be now 15,000 because the customer is asking for different quantities. So the system is directly calculating the new price out of the new quantity, because everything is variable in the calculation. So it means the price we have calculated before was 7,677. For the 15,000, the quoted price would be 10,145. And if we need more versions, then you can just create more versions. And let's say the customer is also asking for 20,000. So sometimes there are different price breaks where the customer is asking for a price. And you can see it's directly recalculated based on the new quantity. If we have calculated all these different variances, then you can do a quote.
Okay, can you go to the estimation again?
To the job, or to the in this area?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There is some additional quantities also coming. What is that one additional quantity? Go to the down. Yeah, there is some additional quantities coming.
Yeah. So you can calculate a so-called additional quantity price. So it means the system has a structure that with the quantity of this job, we have calculated all cost for the setup and for the production. This means, let's say, if someone is asking for 10,000, then with the 10,000, all setup cost is covered. So it means we have the possibility to calculate the following quantity. So let's say if the customer would ask for 11,000, then he can calculate by himself, if this is the price per thousand, that 11,000 would be 7,677 plus the 850. So it means this is the price per thousand without the fixed setup cost. In some regions, this is a price that is sometimes also displayed on the quote.
Okay, it means if I increase the quantity, then setup cost will be the remain same. The other material cost and other activity cost will be increased.
Exactly.
Okay.
And you can set up in the calculation exactly which of these operations will be part of these additional costs and which will be part of the fixed cost.
Okay, great. Thanks. Yeah,
Okay, good. So what is next when I'm done with my calculation? The next thing is that I will create a quote. So it means I'm just changing my status. And let's take a look here. What happens here on the right-hand side? You can see the status says request. The responsible is me, and the deadline is the 20th. So it didn't change. Responsible for the quote is the salesperson. So this is Sarah Sales. You can also open some additional information. You can see here SAS is Sarah Sales. I just don't show the fact boxes all the time, that I have some little bit more space. The status is now quote, and the system has now created a quote number from here. So the next thing I normally need to do is that I am creating a quote. So we have different possibilities to create a quote. Say if I'm just print it, or I can just email it, then it comes up on my email client. And if I just do the preview of the document, then it comes up just with a standard report, which can be changed, of course, to your layout. So it means this is a very simple one, where it comes up with all the details out of the calculation based on the different variances. When I've sent out the quote, then I'm changing again my status to a status quote sent. And as I said, these status codes are, let's say, examples how I run my example company. But normally what I do with this status change is that I know the quote has been sent. The responsible is still our salesperson, but we have now a new deadline. The deadline is now 1 week from today. So it means we have the internal policy that our salesperson has to follow up the job until next Monday. If he didn't do it, then on Tuesday he has a delayed case in his role center. Normally, as next status, PrintViz would create an order, but there could be also the possibility that the customer rejects an order. We have the possibility to ask the user for a rejection code, because I want to know when we lose orders, is it because we don't have the machinery, we don't have capacity, or what is the reason why we are losing the order? So you can later do your analysis why a job was lost. Of course, we are lucky. So I'm changing my status and the system comes up with order. Now we have an order number here. You can see the responsible person is our internal salesperson, Conrad coordinator from the customer service, and the customer will now typically purchase just one of these quantities. So let's say he's taking the 1000. So I need to tell the system this will be my order version. And you can see now I have 4 different job versions, 3 of the type quote. So these are the quote versions. And now just a new copy of the type order, so that we know the 1000 the 10,000 are the ones that the customer has purchased. From here, I can just create now an order confirmation. We skip this, looks like the quote. We can also now create a job ticket. And I didn't check the job ticket up front. I hope it looks not too bad. So the job ticket reads information from the calculation, from user fields and from different places, and should of course be the main instruction that is following the order. And you can see now here that that we have some header information. It looks quite ugly. So the font that is used, I'm not sure if I'm missing a font, because normally it does not have this courier font, which takes a lot of space. But anyway, this is somehow a setup that I need to check. You can see there is some information about these user fields. We have the information about the different sheets. We have some information about the shipping, and every calculation line that is in the calculation can be set up that it also appears on the job ticket. Normally, when I would prepare this demo with an end customer, then I would go through it and also would show information about the perfect binding, folding, and so on. The thing is, of course, everyone is setting up the database a little bit differently. So if we have confirmed everything with the customer, then I would go to the next status. So the next status is plan. The system reminds me, okay, you didn't agree on a shipment date. So of course I did, I just forgot to enter it. So the customer is asking for as a delivery date, let's say for the 5th of November. And you can see the status has now changed to plan. And the responsible person is our friend Paul Planner, he's the one taking now over. So it means he need to pick the job and put it into the planning. There are different ways of doing the planning. We can just drop a job automatically into the planning based on priorities. But I will show you how we do this manually, just that you see what functionality is behind that. In this overview, we can see there is requested delivery date that I just entered. And normally we can also set a start date. And the start date is, let's say we get all data from the customer until tomorrow. So let's say from tomorrow at 11 o'clock. So it means this is my earliest start date. And then you can see the system has created a list of processes, which are mainly from the calculation. Only that perhaps here you see for the proof, I have some milestones where I agree with the customer, okay, when I send you the proofs until Wednesday, when can you approve it so that we can go ahead? These are dates which I normally agree with the customer. The other dates are have some information about the time to plan. You can also see the planned time and the calculated time is not equal. This is because the calculation calculates pure production time, but typically when you have a 2-shift production, then you cannot, in 16 hours of production available time, you cannot produce 16 hours because you have to start up the machines, you have to shut down the machines in the evening. So there is an efficiency factor which is set up with the planning. So it means on the printing machine, we are planning about 6 hours of printing here, even if the calculated time was just 5.18 hours. And each machine comes up with a calendar. So it means we know when we have opening hours. So when is the machine equipped with staff. And we also have the information when there are jobs already planned on the order. Then we have different philosophies how to plan. So we can plan as early as possible based on the start date, as late as possible backwards from the delivery date, or we can plan our bottlenecks, meaning perhaps the presses or some finishing machines are the bottlenecks. These ones we are planning first, and then all other operations will be aligned to these bottlenecks. I will just choose the order by plan date. Order plan by start date. And you can see now it has started directly with the start date. And then it takes just a sequence of the availability of the machines. And you can see the earliest printing time for the KBA press is on 23rd is next Monday. And you can also see the earliest shipment date could be the 27th. So we could not be earlier ready with this order than the 27th. So if the customer does not tell you a delivery date, you can ask the system, okay, what is the suggestion for an earliest possible delivery date? So the system is able to suggest this when you calculate the planning based on the start date. This is the job planning overview. We have something that is called a production plan. The prop plan. On the production plan, you can see the whole planning based on the actual machinery and availability. So what you normally do is when you do some planning, you set your filters perhaps for a certain department or for a certain machine. So I'm just choosing my KBA press. I want to see what is the planning for this machine for the next week. So it means I can tell the system from today until Friday or so. And then we can see exactly what is the sequence of the planning for this machine and the upcoming days. And you can also see what is the total planned time for these machines. And then you can see also which jobs are planned in which sequence. Normally it should sort by the start date. So it means you can see exactly what is the sequence of the orders. When will it start? When will it end? On which day? And you can change the sequencing, you can change the priority and do some replanning. We also have a planning board, which shows the same graphically, where you can also do replanning and other things. So it means if we just close this one, so here we can then just see the same data that we see that we could see on the list, with also the relations between the different processes in the production. Okay, so what we normally do in the planning is we put the job into the planning. Let's do one thing first before we start producing. What we also do is we have something that is called a purchase guide. So it means we look into the materials if they are available or not. And you can see here that it comes up with some papers. In case you don't do purchases order by order for paper, then of course this can be also handled by using the requisition worksheet. So the system calculates what is the actual need for the orders. So we can set up for every item type if it shows up on the purchase guide. So it means there are typically items that are purchased by the customer service, and there are items which are typically purchased by a centralized purchaser, so who is taking care on all papers, let's say. So typically standard papers are done by the centralized purchaser on the requisition worksheet. Special papers, special inks, or boxes that are needed only for this order will be typically done by a customer service person. But PrintViz comes up with the information based on the setup, what need to be done. And let's say if we need to do some purchase on these ones, because these are special papers, then I can directly from here create a purchase order.
Does it respect the rules on a stock keeping unit card if you're using stock keeping units?
No. So it means you need to find out, do you want to use the standard Business Central functionalities, or do you just want to use this, let's say, for creating purchase orders directly from the PrintViz material requirements? And you can split this up. So it means on every item with the quality setup that we have, we can decide which rule it follows. And you can set up, of course, standard Business Central rules for these items, but as soon as they appear here, it will just create for those ones purchase orders.
Thank you.
So this is very often done, as I said, just for special materials which are just needed for this order. It could be also done for subcontracting, because also subcontracting is purchased directly from a customer service person normally, because he knows exactly what details to request from the subcontractor. But all in all, behind of that, we have nothing else than a standard Business Central purchase order with some additional information that comes from PrintViz. So it means we know what PrintViz order this is assigned to. We can also differentiate between the prices. So it means you can see we purchase 5,600 pieces for a price of 150 euro or dollar per 1,000 pieces. So it means these are some conversions that PrintViz can do, because it's quite common that printing companies purchasing paper in 1,000 pieces or in 100 kilos or in 1,000 kilos or other units, and we can recalculate the prices depending on these units. I'm so slow, I'm talking so much. What we can do, where's my expected receipt date? Is it on this area? There is my expected receipt date. So let's say we expect the paper to arrive tomorrow. This is, of course, something that the system can calculate by the reordering policy that you have set up in the item. I just want to set this one now for tomorrow, because I would like to show you something in the system. Okay, so what we have in PrintViz is something that is called receipt list. So it means on this one, we can do a setting that it typically shows everything that we expect for today or for tomorrow. This is the one we have just created. So it means this is nothing else than a purchase order list, but just limited to what we need for a simple PrintViz order. So it means if I go on receive, you can see it looks like a purchase order, but with all fields locked, that we don't need at this moment, or where the user should not do changes. So it means when I use a purchase order for posting, then of course I can easily post the invoice. Of course, the rules of the permissions might block me, but why trying this if it's not necessary? So it means I can here only say, okay, what is the received quantity? And we can also handle over and under delivery. So it means typically I don't get exactly 5,674 sheets. Perhaps I always get 6,000 or 5,500. So I can just accept this and overrule then with the ordered quantity, so that I can accept it even if it was less and it's not more open, or that I can over delivery because normally paper is set in steps of 250 or 500 sheets because it is stacked like that. But from here, I can just say register receipt, and this is now posting the shipment, the receipt of the purchase order, but with some limited options to the operator. So now my material is on stock. So let's guess, when we look into the planning, that the people has started working. So it means what I will do is I will just go into my planning. Normally we need to have all the people working, but I just would like to start with the printing. So let's say all these people has told me that they are done. So it means they told me they have completed their task. And with this changing of the completion of tasks, the system is changing the status, because it knows, okay, if pre-press is done, then we can prepare it for plate making. If, whoops, I have now already finished my printing, did I? I was too fast. Let me just see where we are now. Yeah, so it means it goes already to the binding. So let's switch this back. So I, of course, wanted to, it's always good to know how many lines. I thought that I has marked this line, but let's see, we have one printing option left. So let me just quickly replan this, that I can do this topic now. So, and plan this in again. So it's now again variable planned and not completed. So it means these are all the tasks that are completed. The system is changing the status automatically based on the requirements. It's not changing it back because yeah, I did a wrong setting here. So okay, when I see this, then it typically means the system stopped working. It's very interesting on the actual Business Central versions. So depending on which base Business Central version it is, it sometimes like to stop. And if I have a different Business Central release based on it, it does not stop. I don't know why this is. I hope it's becoming better with the releases that we get. So I just wanted to send the status back to printing here. This time it worked. Okay, good. So now the job is prepared for my production. So I'm now changing to my shop floor worker row center. I need to hurry. So it means the system is now restarting. And it cannot show me cases, but it can show me the shop floor row center. So we have a generic shop floor client where different users can log in and log out. So it means, first I need to log in and then select the machine. So you can see I'm now my operator called Peter Printer. And Peter Printer is working on my Rapida, of course. This is the machine I used. Of course, it is possible that the people are working on different cost centers. So you can see here, these are all the tasks I have to do today or for the upcoming week. So it means when I click on this, you get the list of jobs that are planned for this machine. And you see my Monday brochure. This one is planned then for the upcoming week. And if I choose this job, I can go to the job ticket card, and then you can see these are the operations that are set up, which you can also use on a touch screen. So also the window before, you can set up that it only shows big tiles, that you can run it on a shop floor screen. So it means what I can do here now is just start an operation. So the system is now counting the setup time for this order, for this job item, based on this machine. You can see here what are the quantities I have to produce. You can look up a quality assurance list. So it means, have you checked that bleed and marks are okay on the plates? Yes, I did it. And the samples I will pull later. The paper I've checked, everything is okay. And what you can see here now is the system will remember who has checked off this option and when it was done. You can also store a link with each quality checklist topic. So it means you can also print a file that the user need to sign when you have certain quality assurance requirements. You can add comments to all the different operations. You can send comments also back to the planning. You can consume raw materials from here. So it means you can scan a lot number, or you can just type in the quantities. So depending on the setup, the system comes up with a suggestion of materials to consume, or you can just use this for scanning. So this is depending on the setup. If something appears here, or if you need to use a scanner to scan a lot number. So it means you can tell the system here, let's say we have consumed 2,500 sheets, in case this is handled directly from the operator. So there are different variances that you can use. If I stop this operation and start producing, or let's do one thing first. I would like to show you a status. I hope that I didn't pick the wrong operation now. So with my row center, I have the possibility to look into the case list, because I want to show you that we are also sending back information to the planning. So it means when I look into the planning of my Monday brochure, then you can see that the printing of this one, you remember this was variable planned, the others I've completed before, this one is now in progress. So you can exactly see which of the topics has been started on the machine. So you can see if it is waiting, if it is in progress, if it is interrupted, or if it is completed, step by step for each process. So going back to my shop floor, and if I start the next operation, the system will now count the time between the start and the stop of the setup, because the setup has now stopped, and it will post this time as a time consumption. And the same with the production. So it means it will now count the time for production. I can interrupt a job, so I can just say I stop it, or I can complete a job. So it means this means I'm totally done. With each operation, I can also send so-called waste codes. So it means I can address that I needed more time because of an internal error, or perhaps of a customer error. The customer has approved, but the phone number was wrong, so we needed to do new plates. So it means this is time that we can perhaps charge the customer. Or you want to address information when the paper has a bad quality, so that you later can do some analysis, which extra time you have consumed because of bad paper. So these are waste codes you can set up by yourself, and you can post them together with the production operations. If I stop an operation, it just counts the time now that we have produced and posted to the job costing. If I complete the order, the system brings me back to my row center to my production list, because my Monday brochure is now finished. And you can see this is now updated because one job is done. I'm now switching back to my coordinator row center to give you a very quick overview on the job costing. So the system is collecting all different details for the production on the job costing. So it means on the job costing, you can see these are the totals of the calculated values. These are the totals of my actual production. And you can look into every single detail that has been produced and consumed. So you can see we had tremendous setup and production time, but it is then directly posted with its information, and you have all the details of all different kind of job costing. What you can also do is, when you want to look into the details of the job costing. We have a report that compares every operation in the calculation with every operation in the job costing. So you can see a one-by-one overview, which cost has been calculated and which cost has been consumed. Here we have the same issue that the size of the font is strange. So I need to check this, why my font looks interesting like that. So you can see what was the budget of time, what was the produced time and quantities, and what was the cost against it. So it means in detail, operation by operation. And here in totals, as we have seen this also on the screen in this job costing page. So the next step would be that I would do some shipping. So it means I can create some shipping where I can tell the system details about my shipping. So let's say we are exactly shipping the 10,000. We might have a certain shipping method that could be preset already by the order. And we have the possibility to tell the system, okay, I can put 3,000 or 3,000. I want an uneven number. So it means the system says we will now get 4 pallets. The last pallet only contains 1,000. The weight per pallet is 416 kilos. And we wrap it by 50. So the system says, okay, then we have 200 packs of 50. And each pack will be 6.94 kilos. We have the possibility to add additional information, change the addresses, so we can send it to every address in the system. We can even create manual addresses here and then create the shipment directly from here. And here we have different possibilities to ship. So it means it could be a shipment that is just, let's say, shipped. It could also create sales shipments with details and so on, depending on what kind of philosophy I'm using, also based on the warehouse management if I want to ship items. I can also create shipments by importing addresses. So it means you can have an Excel file where you perhaps have the list of destinations from your customer, because let's say Walmart is ordering posters for all the different supermarkets. So then, of course, you might need to ship the quantity to 10 different addresses. And if we are done with that, then we can create an invoice. So we have our invoicing guide. And with the invoicing guide, it comes up with a standard Business Central invoice, but you can set up different invoice templates. And these invoice templates are set up to pull different information from different areas. So it means if I'm now building the invoice based on my template, there is certain information and also certain text information that it puts out of my calculation. Now, very simple, we just charge it by the quoted price. And then I can directly post my invoice so that we get the accounts hit by this. Okay, so that's it. And I can also find all the invoices based on my order. So this was an order flow from the request to an invoice. We also deliver some statistical possibilities. So with the Microsoft Business Central, Microsoft Power BI solution, we have the possibility to analyze all different areas inside of PrintViz, and we are shipping some sample reports with the system, and we have different queries that you can just pull from the database. So all case information, all job costing information, and of course you can build your own web services if you want to link this data with additional setup information. So we have some overviews about customers, and this is then just, let's say, coming up with information out of these orders that we are creating. You can change the filters here in Power BI by regions, by products, and you can see then here, let's say, what are the new customers by salesperson. In this example, we have some samples about, let's say, the profit ratio. So it means these are then statistics pulling data from the database. And you can also publish this information if you have the license to publish it. So it means different users can just then view the published statistics on their computer, on their smartphone, on their tablet, with all details based on the actual settings that you made on this Power BI. So this one takes a moment to be opened. So you can see also it can show maps. And you can also see, you remember I was talking about rejection codes. So it means you can do your analysis about what jobs did you lose and what was the reason for it. So show it. In a moment, we should be there. And all these statistics are just, let's say, based on the case information, job costing information, and status information in the system. So here we are with the rejected quotes. They are sorted by rejection code. You can see quite even. For some, the price was too high. For some, we couldn't do it based on the delivery date, and some we couldn't make it due to the technical possibilities. And then, yeah, we have just three jobs as example here. So, and then you can see the customers where we have lost the jobs and who was the salesperson. So, of course, the more data, the more relevant the information is here. Okay, so this was a very quick run through. For me, it was very quick. I did it in 1 hour. People say they can do it in half an hour. I think I cannot. This is because there's so much to tell you.
It really is, you know.
It is.
It's extremely feature rich. It's robust, and you know, I don't have anything to compare it to, but it seems like it's really matured, you know, to quite a great system for printers. You know.
Yeah, we think so too.
Those Power BI dashboards are fantastic in terms of a marketing magnet, if you will, to bring people in terms of having interest. You know.
Yeah.
And no, I think you did a great job today in terms of the high-level overview. I do believe that is going to be extremely helpful for our team and for Julie specifically.
Yeah. Yeah, so it means it would be good. For everyone who was not here last week, so Julie prepared a demo. So she took she was quite brave to do a demo for the very first time in PrintViz, and she did it quite well. We had some discussions around calculations, but we didn't look into the further parts. So it means it would be good if we could finish this next week.
Yep.
To look into the order creation and to have some possibilities where I can tell you I would do these things differently, because I did some changes of my setup, because, you know, everyone is doing presentations a little bit differently. So I changed some settings on my status code, what I could do in the 20 minutes of preparation.
Sure.
But that, you know, on the Thursday meetings, we have these setup topics where you learn about different kind of setup, status code flow, and other things that I can tell you where I did some changes, because yeah, the demo database is set up that on some certain status codes you cannot do changes. So let's say when it's in pre-press or when it's in planning, you cannot do changes on the calculation anymore. I don't like this very much. If you get many questions from your customer, then it would be so nice in the demo to be able to switch between, yeah, the demo mode and the workshop mode, where you just try to show what was asked for. This is why I limit myself as less as possible. Of course, it makes sense to do restrictions when the system is live at a customer, but in a demo mode, you should be able to do changes at on every kind of request if possible.
Sure.
Okay, so questions. What did I miss? I haven't done a demo for a year now, I think.
So one question I had is, when you're looking at the job card and you have the person who's responsible, is there any type of escalation there or delegation? So if someone's out of the office, what happens?
Yeah, so what you can do is normally there is just a setup what responsibles you are responsible for. So it means what you can do is when I'm on holidays and Conrad coordinator is there, then I can do a setup that he is also responsible for the cases where I'm typically responsible for. So on the user setup, you can set up either certain filters or also groups. So we have it sometimes customers say, okay, when the order comes in from a salesperson, any customer service internal can take the order. So it means there is a resource code which is called customer service, and then every user who has the customer service group in his user setup will see all the jobs.
Great, thank you.
One thing which is sometimes a little bit difficult to explain in the beginning is this status code, what you can do with it. Yeah, it is a really nice tool which many of our customers are using. It is not really a kind of approval. So we have the status codes before Business Central had approval workflows. But because of these responsibilities, you can do settings that users are not allowed to change a status manually. So it means if it's on a certain person, then this person need to change the status code. So it means you can build those approvals also by using these status codes. And if I have a complex job, I can set up the system that it runs through all production steps and through all different status codes. And of course, the production steps will be triggered by the completion of different productions operations. But you could also do a setup that if you have, let's say, business cards, order type is simple jobs, then a business card, you don't do proper quotes and all this stuff. Normally there is an agreed price for a business card because you don't earn too much money with it. So it means perhaps the status workflow then is just order, printing, invoicing. So it means it runs through a very short workflow for very simple products. So it means that these jobs could be also handled by someone who's not that skilled, because you don't need detailed calculations for a business card. You just need a production command that the production knows what to produce. We have some additional functionalities that, of course, I didn't show because, yeah, it's quite difficult to show all functionalities. We have something that is called versioning. Versioning means, let's say, if you don't have just a standard product like mine with 40 pages, you could also have let's say a cover which is for your certain supermarket. So it means you have the Walmart brochure, which is just for one Walmart. So it means let's say if the brochure is for 10 different Walmarts, then you have 10 different covers that you are producing. But then inside of this Walmart brochure, there is a garden part. So let's say 6 pages or 12 pages, 16 pages, 24 pages about modern gardening. This might be the same 16 pages in all of the different Walmarts. And then there is a car area. So it means you have 4 pages of the newest car sales. And this is perhaps only in 3 of the 10 different Walmarts. So it means you can do such a versioning so that at the end, PrintSmith will tell you, okay, then you have to produce these quantities for sheet 1, these quantities for sheet 2. So you can create combined sheets. Very useful for web printers who are producing these small brochures, which you find in a newspaper or that you find on the entrance or the exit of a supermarket that you can just take away. We also have a quick quote. So perhaps the quick quote is something we should discuss also soon in this forum, because the quick quote is something that does not do anything else than creating such a case in the background, but with a simplified interface. So you don't have that many options, but at the end, out of the input, it will create such a calculation. Sometimes we get the feedback, calculations are complex. And yes, because the product might be complex, but the system is normally not that difficult to use unless you know what you are doing, because we only have 3 different windows which defines the information for this product. So it means you can see we have the job items. So we have 2 different parts for my meta part of the brochure. Then we have the cover. That is just the basic definition to how it's split up. You could also add sheets here. If you add a postcard for something that's for some samples, or I don't know what could be part of such a brochure. But then after this window, we only have the estimating window where all the details of the calculation is happening. And then you only have the specification card to prove if the calculation is right. So it means if a calculator can see these numbers, then he can see, okay, calculation is right. If he can see such number, then he can see, okay, the paper I've chosen was not the best. So I chose the biggest paper that fits to my machine. So of course, this is not always the best idea. But the system shows this information that the usage of the paper is not the very best. So if this is between 80 and 90, then normally you are good. So there are 2-3 fields that the estimator only need to look into, also the scrap. Then he knows exactly, is everything that I've done here right? So it means we have really these 2 main windows, then the specification card to look into the details. That's it. So it's normally perhaps a little bit confusing. What is the job card? What is the estimating card, and so on? But let's say at the end, if you have used the system 2-3 times, it's not so that complex.
So in Business Central or Nav, we commonly might do copy document. So if someone wanted to repeat an order, is there something similar there to copy a case card if they came back 6 months later and want to redo it?
Yes. So you can either copy a case to a new one. So it means you can see this one is case 230. So I copy it, and the new one should start in the status of request because they want a new quote. So it means you can see now it is a full copy of what we did before, of the 10,000 that I've highlighted, and everything is just the same. And now I can just do the modifications. Perhaps this time they ask for 12,500 and perhaps for a different number of pages. So I can change this so that the system is then recalculating these figures. So yes, you can copy to, and you also have a functionality which is called copy from. This means if you need something like a project, so sometimes for an exhibition, they are asking for some brochures, they are asking for business cards, they are asking for some roll-ups and so on. So you can pull different of these kinds of calculations from different orders into the actual one that you are doing. So it means you can pick parts of other calculations, or you can just take the actual job and copy it to the new order. Both possible. Oops. More questions?
No, none here.
Okay. If you don't, then perhaps I can show you, and I cannot guarantee if I don't get error messages. I haven't tried this. So I can show you a quick quote. Okay. The quick quote also has this information that you can select a customer. And you can choose products, but you can see the products might be limited, because these are just products that are made for this quick quote. And you can choose subtypes of business cards. So it could be different sizes of business cards. Let's see what I have here. This is so. Yeah. So with every type, you can get, let's say it could be, the business cards 2-sided, or it can be 1-sided business cards. For each one, you can set up such a product configuration. So a subtype of the product. Give it a job name, my business card. Then let's say we need 750. You can add some text information. You can select or deselect components. You can see this one cannot do much. You can take a look into the ink if this is something special that you want to change, and you can add quantity breaks. So it means perhaps the customer is asking also for 1,000, or perhaps just for 250. More you cannot do, because a business card is something very simple. And if you then say, calculate this, then the system is just creating in the background a case, picking the different templates, adding the information that I've chosen, and then giving me a price. So I need to close this one, that we have a little bit more space. Now you can see it has now calculated 3 different versions. And in the background, we did nothing else than creating a case. And of course, here I can now just create a quote, but I can also go into my case card. So it means this is in the background. We always need this case. You can see here, these are my different versions, which are then created from a certain template. And the template is always a digital machine. And I just need some cutting here and then some shipping. So it means the only thing that is important here is the number of business cards that I want to calculate. And I think it is missing what I also want to show you, so it needs a little bit more setup. If I'm now creating a new product, it should be normally there, but I don't see the product group that I'm looking for. Let's see. That's always a problem. So we do always some smaller adjustments on the intent creator. Okay, it's there. So you see I have standard brochures. One is perfect bound, one is saddle stitched, and let's say these are 5,000. You can choose that I don't need a cover, so it's a self cover. You can also see there could be product configurations where the system is asking me questions. So do you need artwork? Yes. So it will then ask me for input. You remember we had for this desktop publishing, it was asking me for time. So I think this is perhaps 2 hours of Photoshop. So it means you can also fill this information here. Do you want to add some information about the cover? Yeah, so do we need some die cutting on the cover? No, we need some lamination on the cover, yes. So it means you can add some more descriptions, blah, blah. So it means this is a kind of questionnaire, of course, still based on the template, but this one is possible for every salesperson to give this information. And then if you create the calculation from it, it will give you a price. Of course, I also can add quantity breaks and so on. And in the background, if we look into the case, all this information that I've entered, the quantity, to be honest, I'm not 100% sure at the moment where it has dropped my comment. Here's my comment, blah, blah. And I think we should have also 2 hours of desktop operations for Photoshop, right? So it means you can set up this quick quote with a questionnaire, so that with answering the questionnaire, the system will set up the data in the way we have just set up our first calculation. Of course, limited to what is available in the questionnaire, but that detailed that you can get a proper draft calculation without that the user needs the details of how to run the calculation inside of PrintViz. And sometimes you don't want them to do a calculation here, because of course here you have also possibilities to remove things and so on. But with these limits on the quick quote, there is an easy order entry or calculation entry, also for users that are not that skilled on the calculation part.
That's pretty cool.
I think so, yeah. And even with this, what I like is this questionnaire that you can set up. The setup behind this is a little bit tricky. So it means you need to know first that your setup is working. Then you set up a layer with questions on these different areas. And then, yeah, you can just set up the question, and based on the answer of the question, the system will do something. Add calculation units, adds lamination. I'm not sure if there was lamination on the cover. I should think so. You can add, let's say, values to certain fields. You can define which fields is the destination for a certain input. So it means if you prepare this nice for some products, and you are able to run this properly, that looks quite nice. Okay.
All right.
So now I did a demonstration for you. Do you know if Jamie will be not Jamie?
Julie. She will. She is scheduled for next week. Yes. This was unexpected.
Yeah. Okay. of course, one of you can also. So the best would be based on you have seen what you have seen today, and also what you can see in the demo script. Which, because I did nothing else than we normally see in the demo script, step by step, that you just try it with your database. First thing is you will see if everything is working. That is the most important thing, that you can run through it. But of course, let's say you might get some questions that we can discuss next week, because this was the reason why we said, okay, let's do some more practicing. Today was not too much practicing, because you said, can you do a demo the way you would do it? But then next week we should really see that all of you have a running system, and perhaps some questions because you tried it already. The weeks after that, I will not be everything done by me, but we will drive you through the different other databases that we have. So this one is a commercial printing demo database. We also have one for label printing. So narrow web label printing. Then we have one where we don't print at all. It's just for bindery. So companies that are not printing, but they do all kind of subcontracting bindery work for a printing company. And we also have a demo database for newspapers. So newspaper press is working totally different from these machines that we have here. All just print with. It looks all the same, but the setup behind it is differently. So you need to know how to present this. Then one last thing, we also discussed last time, it would be helpful for you that we have some presentations of different products recorded. So we will, not sure how much we can do until the end of the year, but we will have a set of recordings when we do a 5-minute demo. This is how to do a demo for a business card. This is how to do it for a brochure. This is how to do it for a poster, and so on. So that you have short video which shows you, okay, this is the product. This is how we would present it. Mm-hmm. This is something which we have started working on, so that we will not have everything ready this year, but at least that we have started with some simple examples, which could be also then helpful just for practicing. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay.
All right.
If you don't have more questions, then I think this is what I wanted to show you. I didn't want to spend that much time, but
no, it's good.
If partners are asking me, can you do a demo? Then I always can tell them, yes, I can do a demo. And I'm not very good at exhibitions, because then everyone says you need to do it in 10 minutes. So if I'm very fast, I can do it in half an hour. Then
there's too much here. There's too much here to appreciate. So you'll post this. You'll post a recording tonight.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.